The mood at the World Series of Poker main event has changed. Big smiles were for day 1. Intense stares are for day 7. As the main event reaches its climax, the dynamic must shift. If the pressure can be overcome, someone will enjoy that last big smile.
I'm gonna have a heart attack on ESPN like 12 times.
And that one is reserved for the champion. Welcome to Las Vegas for day 7 of the World Series of Poker main event. The time for action is now.
Let's do it, I'm pumped up.
Someone took more sunnies.
A lot of nervous energy with the final table so close.
It's gonna be a long, grueling, mentally tough, challenging day today.
This is a Belize cigar. Don't use a cutter, use a puncher. Good luck to you today.
Day 7, got to do work.
Day 7, feel good.
Trying to find my table.
Now where's my table?
Hilton Laborda is still dressed in the Brazilian flag, while Lars Bonding hopes he can stack chips all day long.
Hopefully things will go well today and I can keep chipping up.
Eoghan O'Dea has the bloodlines for success. And still hanging around is Eric E-Dog Lenaghan, joined by friend and fellow pro Phil Collins.
Let's do this.
Lenaghan continues to be a central figure at this main event.
One day he's dressed in white, the next day he's dressed in black, every day he's flush in chips.
Lenaghan is a double up away from being a major contender.
He's played the short stack well. Can he play it all the way to the November 9?
But 56 players are chasing Ryan Lenaghan.
He's easy to chase, just look for the chartreuse.
Kara Scott caught up with Ryan before play started.
Ryan Lenaghan is a chip leader coming into day 7, and it was a big pot that brought you here. You 6-bet shoved jacks. Talk to me about your thinking there.
I raised with jacks, and he 3-bet. Again, it came back to me, and I decided it'd be better to 4-bet just because I thought he would shove all in, but he ended up making like kind of a raise for about half his stack. And I still moved all in, and he thought for like 5 minutes. So I thought I had the best hand, but there was so much in the middle, I still kind of wanted to win the hand. And he finally called, and I wasn't really happy to see ace-queen, but I got lucky and won, so it's good.
So who are you going to be attacking, and who will you be staying away from at your table?
You know, no one in general that I'll be attacking or staying away from yet. I'll just kind of have to see how they're playing and then go from there, you know, because everybody always plays a little different sometimes. You get to see first.
Thanks very much.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Lenaghan with an almost 3 million chip lead on second place Ben Lamb. One short stack, Matt Giannetti owned days 5 and 6 and now has almost 8 million chips.
2 qualities the leaderboard has in common, Lon: youth and aggression. Everyone in the top 10 is a 20-something other than Tree Wing, who is 33.
This your first main event?
Yes, sir. That's pretty lucky, isn't it?
Oh, yeah.
What about you?
Doesn't get any better than this, does it?
No,
This is probably my 25th straight.
Wow, that is amazing.
Yeah.
Well, congratulations.
Thanks. Likewise.
That's pretty good. Thank you.
John Esposito has been around the World Series block a few times. The blind's at 30 and 60,000 with a 10,000 chip ante, 170,000 in the pot before the first card's dealt. Esposito with king, queen off.
You heard Esposito mention he's played at 25 straight main events, and few have had more success. He's cashed 7 times, 4 times making it to the final 3 tables.
Born in Chicago, Espo now lives in Las Vegas, a raise to 160,000 on small blind David Doc Sands. He folds. In the big blind, the big stack, Ryan Lenaghan with pocket trays.
Lenaghan graduated from LSU in general studies. General studies? That sounds suspicious to me.
He makes the call. So the chip leader against the featured table short stack, Esposito. And here's the flop. Jack 4-9. Lenaghan still ahead with a small pocket pair. Esposito picked up a gut shot. They both check. Turn card. Another jack. It's a heart. Both players with heart flush draws, but Esposito's queen of hearts trumps Lenaghan's. Lenaghan with jacks up. That's 165,000.
Lenaghan is 26 years old. Esposito has been married for 27 years.
Raise it.
Esposito says raise.
About $1 million more.
And that's all he has. Esposito shoves.
Well, who says 57-year-olds can't bring the hammer like the young guns?
It'll be over $1.2 million more for Lenaghan to make this call.
Only Barry Johnston, Bobby Baldwin, Umberto Brenes, and Doyle Brenson have cashed in more main events than John Esposito.
That is an amazing statistic.
Well, Esposito has brought down the hammer, yet Lenaghan thinking about making the call. But those pocket threes look awful tiny right now.
He is the chip leader. He would need about 10% of his stack to make the call.
I call.
And that's what he does.
Good call.
Esposito at risk.
Pair of trays? Buddy, I got 1 million wins to this head. Wow.
What a call.
Good call. I mean,
Wow, sick
probably
call.
even money, isn't it?
Espo's right, dead even. Espo needs help.
And there it is. He hits the king on the river.
Yes!
Old school double fist pump.
Ryan Lenaghan gives away some chips.
That's a good place to be.
The locals love it. Even money turns into 3.2 million chips for Las Vegas's John Esposito.
As day 7 gets underway, gone are those who are just happy to be here. The small field has 2 goals: make the November 9 and then win it all. Few know what it's like to make it this far, so I ask you, 12th place stud 8 finisher, does experience count?
Sure, experience counts. When John Esposito first cashed in the main event, Ryan Lenaghan was in preschool. Espo was reading hands when Lenaghan was reading Dr. Seuss. Sure, fearlessness counts for a lot, but at this stage of the game, a little experience goes a long way. That being said, some 20-something online whiz probably still going to win this thing, while John Esposito is back home trying to figure out how his VCR works.
John enjoying yet another strong main event run.
Well, I knew you were weak. You just made a good call on me.
Had 2 pair with the flush draw.
Yeah. No, you didn't have a flush draw.
That's a big hand.
You didn't have a flush draw.
You had 2
You
pair
just
with a
thought you had a
blocker.
flush draw.
You had 2 pair with a blocker.
Right.
That's what he had.
John sitting with a slightly below average chip stack right now. At an outer table, that's Mario Silvestri, who re-raised all in with pocket 5s for almost $500,000. Philippe Grusom, who holds king 6 suited with more than $3.5 million chips, made the call. There'd been some debate at the table whether Silvestri exposed his hand before Grusom acted. If he did, that would be a violation. Grusom misses the flop.
I got the backdoor everything.
Silvestri, a 3-1 favorite now. A queen is no help to Grusom.
Working so far.
Only a king or a 6 knocks out Silvestri.
The river card is a 5. Grusom loses some chips. Silvestri doubles and keeps his chair. But a tournament official is there to talk to him.
Oh, no. I'm telling you, he said he called. I called. He said I called. Can we say that? He said I called. I heard. I didn't hear anything. Can we just not give him a penalty? I wasn't going to make a big deal. 35. No, the thing is, like, he said, I'm pretty sure I'm calling.
No, he didn't say it.
Right, so I'm going to have to think he heard call.
Sorry, buddy, but he didn't say it in 1 round.
Can we not give him a penalty? That's just too much. That is not true.
But in fairness, sir,
Can we just not
sir,
give a
in
penalty here?
fairness, I think fairness to the
Penalty is too much.
I mean, what you
Yeah,
whatever you said,
Mario.
we all agreed it shouldn't get a penalty. Just give him a warning.
Yeah, we all agree.
Just give him a warning.
It affects the action.
No. If I can explain, although he didn't say I called, what he did say, he implied that he was going to call.
Yeah, I heard the word call.
So,
We all agree a warning
Yeah,
is
he implied that he was going to call.
Yeah, because he said.
He'll admit it.
Silvestri's table mates appealing to another official.
What I was saying is, I said okay.
Okay.
I got a bad hand, and then he turned it over.
It's all good. It's too late now. You can't do it.
Hey guys, move on with the action.
Sorry, buddy.
I think it's stupid.
Silvestri will sit out 1 round, 8 hands.
Yeah, this is too much.
Tough ruling, and Silvestri understandably frustrated. A 1-round penalty is going to cost him 15% of his stack in blinds and antes.
He turned it over when I said, I got a bad hand.
No, he heard you call.
I said, okay, I got a bad hand.
Oh, maybe the word okay.
Yeah, okay, I got a bad hand. And then he turned over.
His table mates came to his aid, but Silvestri will sit out a round, a bittersweet double up. So 56 players remain in the main event. The average stack almost 3.7 million. Ryan Lenaghan still top dog. On the left, Kenny Shee saw a raise and a call before he looked down at aces. On the right is Stuart Tuvey, the original raiser with pocket sixes. He was called by John Hewitt with pocket jacks. And Shee raises all in.
Well, this is an easy fold for Tuvey.
Tuvey tosses in his pocket sixes, and a call from Hewitt. And Norman, I've got a new poster boy for pocket jacks.
Well, if the poster boy gets lucky, the 23-year-old Costa Rican pro can knock out the 30-year-old American pro.
All right, here's the flop. 10-9 queen. That's a good flop for jacks, but she's still ahead.
She does not like the sweat.
How are you feeling?
Good.
Good?
Yeah.
I feel really good. I feel
8-13.
Deuce. Jack, king. Come on. Come on. Break,
Turn card.
Break.
Not what Hewitt was looking for.
She's got to dodge 10 outs one more time.
One more break. Come on.
King, 8, or Jack knocks him out.
3 diamonds.
Hurry up, dealer. The man's suffering.
Come on.
The river card is a 7. Kenny Shee will survive and double up. John Hewitt knocked down to about an average stack of 3.7 million.
So sick. As long as you win, I'm gonna have a heart attack on ESPN like 12 times. You guys see it, like all my friends back home. Cal, you guys will see it. Freaking 12 heart attacks. Jeez.
With 3 million now, he just needs 203 million more to be the main event champ. Welcome back. There is no bigger prize pool in all of sports. $64 million awarded at this main event, 8.7 to the winner. Back inside the Amazon room where the field continues to shrink and the stacks continue to grow. 3 chips in play right now. The orange chips worth $5,000 apiece, the greens worth $25,000, and the recently introduced purple chips a cool $100,000 each.
If I ever had a purple chip, I think I would buy a purple Bentley.
Well, you might be able to get the rear quarter panel. There is Little Rock amateur Sam Barnhart with pocket 10s.
A raise.
A raise to $135,000.
50% off sale. Huh? 50% off the original price.
Well, might be a little better hand this time.
Action on Ukrainian pro Anton Makievsky with ace-queen off. And a raise from him to $300,000.
Makievsky says the sale is over. You now must pay full retail to play.
Scott Schwalik folds to the button. Ben Lamb with 7-4 of spades. He's the top stack at this table.
Lamb on the button and looks to be in the mood to gamble. What's 300 grand to a big spender like him?
He's sitting with over 10 million. And a re-raise, because he can afford it, and to camouflage his raises when he has real hands.
Lamb just 4-bet line with 7-4. What a markup. No discounts on his watch.
A re-raise to $725,000. Now over to Barnhart, the original raiser.
Barnhart not looking to spend $725,000 to see a flop.
And he gets rid of his 10s. Makievsky now.
The best hand yields, which of course gives Ben Lamb a fighting chance.
That's quite a Ukrainian stare.
All in.
Makievsky says all in.
You have 4.
That's a pretty good read from Makievsky.
You made it past the snap call.
Lamb now will count to 5 and act like it's a tough laydown.
Should have to have like aces here.
3, 4, 5, and there's the fold. So a great read by Makievsky, and he'll take that pot.
Now the 21-year-old plays like he's at least 22.
Makievsky with more than 5 million now.
Pretty good hand myself.
Yeah.
A rare sight to see Ben Lamb blink first, but he did get caught red-handed. We check in now with David Sands, whose girlfriend Erika Moutinho is still in the main event. On day 6, Sands answered a question he wished he hadn't.
What color are her eyes? Brown.
Dark green.
Yeah, I've definitely got a lot of flack for getting Erika's eye color wrong in an interview the other day. I don't know, I guess I was just flustered, and the truth is that I kind of felt like I was if I said dark greenish brown, I was going to be able to get away with 2 answers, and so I had no shot at being wrong. But then I ended up just saying dark green, and I didn't get the brown out. But if you look at the interview, I did like try to say brown. It's almost like a stutter. So if you can play it in slow motion, I think you'll see where I tried to spit out brown.
Dark green.
Brown, brown, brown.
Doc Sands is a smart guy, but that's pathetic. It's one thing not to know the color of your girlfriend's eyes, but he wanted to go to replay to justify his error. That relationship has no chance.
David's brown-eyed girl has more chips than he does at this point, but David with 2 aces, 1 of each color. Hilton Laborda opened the action with ace deuce of diamonds, and now Sands with a re-raise to 275. Chip leader Lenaghan gives up his button, and the small blind Hines folds. And the big blind French pro Stefano Albertini folds. Back to Laborda.
Laborda with the weak ace, made weaker by Sands' pocket aces.
He loves to see a flop, and he makes the call. The flop, king 10 for 2 hearts. Nothing for Laborda. And he checks. Sands way, way ahead.
Sands made a final table this year at a World Series pot limit Omaha event, finishing 3rd.
Laborda, who has been very aggressive, checked the flop.
Hey, Doc, those chips are orange. Laborda's flag is green. Your girlfriend's eyes, brown.
Sands with a bet of $235,000. Laborda may be seeing red right now. No?
65.
A raise to $650,000 from the Brazilian.
Wow. Laborda makes a gutsy play here. Well, gutsy or foolish.
Okay, Tom. All in.
All in.
Doc Sands re-raises all in for $1.7 million.
Laborda will count to 5 slowly and then pretend he has a tough laydown.
Well, soccer is Brazil's national sport. Maybe he could fake an injury to try to save some face. Laborda does fold, and Doc Sands will take a nice pot here at this feature table.
Hey, Doc, look at Hilton's eyes. They are also brown.
Laborda's aggression comes back to bite him there, and Sands, the recipient of 1 million new chips. He's up to 3.1 million right now, and that's more than Erika Moutinho, by the way. All right, to an outer table. Kenny Shee on the right and the pink-haired Guillaume Darcourt are in a hand with German pro Sebastian Rutenberg, who just re-raised all in with ace-queen off. Action on Darcourt, the French businessman, with pocket kings.
The amateur against the 2 young pros.
She opened the action with pocket eights. Darcourt just calls, inviting Shee to come along.
That makes my decision. Have fun.
She lays down his hand. Rutenberg at risk and trailing.
I folded 8s. How's that? I was like,
No, 8s.
Rutenberg creative, aggressive, but now at the mercy of the deck to stick around.
Bracelet winner looking for an ace. Here's the flop, 10-8, 10, and Kenny Shee looks at the full house he folded.
no, 8s. I had 8s. 8s.
Turn card now. Deuce of clubs. Darcourt adds a higher flush draw.
Rutenberg's going to need a non-club ace.
The river is another deuce. Rutenberg out of the main event. Darcourt gets stronger.
Wish you all the best, Erika.
I believe that was a French kiss.
Darcourt now with more than 6.7 million chips. German Sebastian Rutenberg won the respect of fellow pros for his stellar play, but his main event journey ends in 55th place. Frenchman Guillaume Darcourt hopes to put his newly won chips to good use and continue his deep run here at the 2011 main event. Welcome back to the World Series of Poker main event presented by Jack Link's Beef Jerky. Lon McCarron along with Norman Chad and Kara Scott here on day 7 of this 2011 main event.
Only one player left in the field is a multiple bracelet winner, J.P. Kelly.
52 players left from the original field of 6,865. Each remaining player guaranteed $160,000. 12th through 10th gets almost 4 times that. 8 members of this year's November 9 will become millionaires. Some serious cash to fight for at that final table come November. And how about a heads up? The difference between first and second, $3.3 million. That's going to be fun to watch. At this featured table action on Hilton Laborda with the button. He calls with ace jack. Ryan Lenaghan opened the action to $140,000 with king 9. Now to the small blind, John Esposito with 2 aces.
Former nightclub owner, professional gambler, big sports bettor, big bettor on the golf course. He also fishes, but that might be the one area in which he doesn't gamble.
A re-raise to $490,000 in the big blind, David Bach.
Bach flying solo today. The masseuses union doesn't work the feature table. TV lights are too bright.
He folds his rags. So back to Lenaghan, the original raiser. And he lays down. Now to Eoghan de Bandeira.
What is that?
The flag man in Portuguese.
Oh, so English is your second language. Wow. Deja vu. Laborda had an ace against David Sands' aces. Now with an ace against pocket aces again.
This ace into the mug, and Esposito will take that. John Esposito now with more than $3.3 million. John's been around the game a long time, but that does not mean he doesn't have any tells. Let's hear from former FBI agent Joe Navarro on what he saw.
John Esposito is going to show us 2 behaviors that are actually very significant. The first one has to do with how he tosses those chips in very powerfully. And the second one, I want you to look at the face. So as we look at him, he puts his chips out very confidently, something to pay attention to. The second one has to do with his face. Notice how his cheeks are moving in and out. For a lot of players, what this says is, I'm very strong, I'm very confident.
Well, John Esposito is a strong and confident fellow. Regardless, he walks around like he's going to win.
Good qualities to have at the main event. We move from the featured table, go over to the secondary table. Ben Lamb is steady as she goes. Guillaume Darcourt has been moved from the outer tables and will be on Ben's left. They are the 2 top stacks now at this secondary table. Action on Ben Lamb with 2 kings. And a raise to $135,000. Darcourt with aces.
Boy, and this is potentially a nightmare scenario for Ben Lamb. He could lose 7 million chips right here.
So Darcourt will try to extract as many chips from this table with his aces. There's a re-raise to $285,000.
Here's a fun fact for you, Lon. Every time you get pocket kings, there's about a 4% chance someone will get pocket aces at a 9-handed table.
That's just scary. Gut check time for the other players here. A raise and a re-raise from the 2 big stacks here at this table.
Here's another fun fact for you, Lon. Water covers about 70% of the Earth's surface, but it's $6 a bottle at a lot of hotels.
All right, so it'll be the re-raise now back to Lamb. Just a call with the kings.
Wow, Lamb not re-raising pre-flop.
Aces versus kings, Darcourt and Lamb. The flop 6-4-9. Lamb checks.
With the pink hair, you expect Darcourt to be wild and crazy, but he actually plays a pretty solid game.
Darcourt came by the pink hair due to a lost bet. And there's a bet of $300,000. Lamb comes by his hair color naturally. And he makes the call.
Oh, Lamb didn't repop it pre-flop. Now just check calling with a very safe board for pocket kings.
Turn card is a 5. Lamb checks again quickly.
Lamb is cautious, it seems. And Darcourt is quite comfortable.
Darcourt has retreated into his Star Wars Emperor mode. And now about a third of the pot, $425,000.
Small bet. And Joe Navarro would tell you that wearing a watch with a second hand on your left wrist indicates strength. Again, this is a pretty non-threatening board for pocket kings, but Lamb's played it the whole way like he's wary.
Just another call from Lamb. All right, the river card. The 9 pairs the board. Ben Lamb quick to check again.
Darcourt's seen Lamb call him 3 straight times. Might be thinking of a value bet here. Might also be thinking maybe a value bet's going to blow up in my face.
Darcourt checks.
I win.
No, you don't.
Whoa!
I win.
Thought I might have won when he checked.
Sorry?
Thought I might have won when you checked.
You don't re-raise me before the flop, you forgot?
I don't know. Where's your pot, buddy?
Where's the rest of that pot?
I like how I win.
Somehow Ben Lamb managed to lose just a fraction of his stack. Welcome back to the Amazon Room at the Rio. Just before the break, we saw an incredible hand, not because the pot was so big, but because the pot was so small. Ben Lamb escaped disaster against Guillaume Darcourt. Pro Phil Galfon will tell us how.
I think this is the most important hand of Ben Lamb's tournament. He manages to lose just 1/10 of his stack with pocket kings against pocket aces. Rather than 4-betting pre-flop, he just calls Darcourt's 3-bet and check calls the flop, check calls the turn, river goes check, check. I think the key here, a lot of people might think Ben Lamb must have put him on aces or have been worried about aces. That's not at all the point. What Ben Lamb's thinking is that I have such a big edge on this tournament field, I don't want to risk the majority of my stack right now on what I consider a small edge. In a tournament, if you're a big favorite, you don't want to take big risks and even cost yourself some expected value in doing so.
It might seem obvious, but chips you don't lose stay in your stack. Ben Lamb, very impressive there, losing not much.
Despite the reduced field, still so much going on at all the tables. One-time chip leader Phil Collins is holding steady right now, just over 7.6 million.
And you see Collins uses a water bottle as a divider, a fence, if you will, between his chips and his neighbors.
And now that Mario Silvestri can sit down again, he needs to chip up.
I hope that's a new hoodie. He had thrown his hoodie to the floor when he got that one-round penalty.
Silvestri with almost $1.5 million now. Back at the secondary featured table, Ben Lamb and Guillaume Darcourt are at it again. Lamb open for 200,000 with ace-10. Darcourt 3-bet with king tray of hearts, and Lamb called. The flop 8-4-ace. Lamb flops top pair.
This is a battle of the blinds. I wouldn't want to go heads up against Lamb while chewing the last remnants of lunch.
Lamb checked. These two about evenly stacked now, 8.5 million each. Darcourt checks. Turn card now. The 5 of hearts gives Darcourt a whole suit full of outs with a flush draw, and he has a wheel draw too.
Well, that's about the best turn card Darcourt could have asked for.
Lamb can't give another free card. Bet 625,000.
Darcourt a 3-to-1 dog in the hand and getting 3-to-1 on a call here.
And there is the call. Oh, that was a great turn card, as you mentioned, Norman. River card is a deuce. The Frenchman rivers the wheel. Darcourt running like Ben Lamb now against Ben Lamb. Lamb checks.
Surprised Lamb did not bet the river for value. That deuce of spades looks like a blank, even though it did put 4 to a straight out there. Need I remind anyone, Ben Lamb a little smarter than I am.
Darcourt now trying to figure out how much he can get from Lamb. He thinks $1,025,000.
$1,025,000. Probably gonna call you.
Ben Lamb doesn't want to call, doesn't want to fold. He's already put $1.2 million into the pot. If he calls here, he'll stand to lose 1/4 of his stack on this hand.
Lamb's girlfriend, Amy, looking on anxiously.
Doc Sands thinks her eyes are green.
I don't think I can fold. What do you think? I don't think I can fold this hand.
I don't know what you have. I don't know what you have.
I have that same problem.
Yeah, I see.
Darcourt seems comfortable. Lamb makes the call and sees the winning straight.
King 3 hearts is so sick. Just hoping he didn't have a heart with it.
Amy hasn't seen many bad moments for her man in this World Series.
Think it's good, no?
Yeah, it was straight. Of course it's good.
The French businessman likes doing business with Ben Lamb again.
Darcourt got the 10.8 million by knocking Lamb down to 6.4 million. Nobody holds over Lamb, but it is official. Guillaume Darcourt is on a heater, and it's coming at the expense of Ben Lamb. Everyone comes to Las Vegas chasing a dream, and inside the Rio, a select group of players are left chasing the dream of becoming a world champion. Just 6 tables remain in the Amazon Room. Let's check in with Kara Scott for a report on the outer tables.
We're down to 50 players now as we say goodbye to some names like Sebastian Rutenberg and Jody Howe. Some notable names still in, though. Eric Lindgren with 1.8 million chips, Tony Hashem with 2.4, and of course Erika Moutinho, who's just doubled up to 4.5 million chips.
And that's a better than average stack right now. The current payout just over $160,000. 4 Canadians left, 2 Brazilians, 2 Frenchmen. Action at the secondary table on one of the Frenchmen, Guillaume Darcourt. Lines up to 40 and 80,000. Darcourt on the Jack Link's Beef Jerky hole. Cam, King 9.
Darcourt's wife, Caroline, is a poker journalist, and her eyes are brown.
She may have written about Guillaume's WPT win in Bucharest in 2010. Darcourt putting together a raise, 180,000. To Chilean pro Nicolas Fierro with King 10 of spades.
Fierro with an engineering degree from the Pontificia Universidad Católica de Santiago. I believe they are the Thundering Herd.
I did not know that. Fierro with a call of 180,000. To Irish pro Eoghan O'Dea with pocket jacks. On the button, he says all in. A re-raised over $1.7 million. Barnhart in the small blind folds. Makievsky with ace 10 of hearts. Darcourt folds out a turn.
Makievsky with a math degree from Taras Shevchenko National University in Kiev, and they too are the Thundering Herd.
A statistical improbability.
Well, frankly, Anton's fine education should have told him to fold already.
Ukrainian pro.
Call.
Makes the call. Darcourt already folded, so action to Fierro, and he lays down. So O'Dea, a better than 2-1 favorite to double up.
I don't understand that play by Makievsky. At best, he likely was going to be in a coin flip, and it was for more than 1/3 of his stack.
So O'Dea with a chance to get healthy here. The flop. 5-9 deuce, 2 hearts. O'Dea's jacks are still best, but Makievsky with a flush draw.
O'Dea a long way from securing survival.
Turn card now. 6 of spades. Makievsky misses. O'Dea one more street to survive.
Still 11 outs to knock out Eoghan O'Dea.
The river card, an 8 of diamonds, and O'Dea with a sigh of relief doubles to 4 million. The Ukrainian drops below chip average.
You almost cost him his term of life, you know, right? He folded out a turn, and he would have never played his hand if you were in the pot.
Yeah.
You caused this hand to go down. You need it.
So Eoghan O'Dea, the only Irishman left in the main event, will try to keep his lucky streak alive.
Call.
I'd say he's doing rather well, having just doubled up holding pocket jacks. Ralph Rep Porter brought his career winnings to nearly $1.5 million by taking down the $2,500 Raz event along with his second gold bracelet. In a 1K buy-in no-limit hold'em tournament, amateur and former Marine Ken Griffin earned his first ever World Series cash. It was a big one. He took home the bracelet and over 450 grand.
Ken Griffin, and I just won my first World Series of Poker bracelet.
As we head back to the outer tables, we find Eric E-Dog Lindgren, who won his only bracelet in 2008. A lot of fans were surprised to learn that 2011 is Eric's first ever main event cash.
Yeah, I wasn't having much fun in the preliminaries, but when the main event came, I've just been having so much fun making a run. I think that I'm a patient player as well. I'm able to pick my spots, not get too emotional. Basically, I'm just getting to be very experienced at tournament poker.
Back to the action on a trade Jack-Jack flop. Lindgren just raised all in with pocket sevens against Kyle Johnson, who has ace-queen.
Johnson, a 22-year-old Canadian semi-pro.
How much is in the pot? Oh, I can figure that out. Young kids never want to do any work. Not really.
Johnson should let this go. He is getting 3-1 on a call, though. He's actually in much better shape here than he should be.
22-year-old from Edmonton.
Eric thinking, let it go. I'll take the pot.
Exactly.
I call.
But Johnson makes the call.
E-Dog hates to see that call. He'd prefer to take the chips uncontested and move on. 6 outs for Johnson to knock out the 2008 World Series Player of the Year.
Turn card now. Another jack, and Eric can't afford to see another one, Norman.
Yeah, if you put a river jack up there, you'd have to wheel Lenaghan out of here on a stretcher.
River cards paint, but it's a king. Lenaghan will double up.
E-Dog loves to see that call now. He needs the chips. Lenaghan trying to crawl his way to the November 9.
Remember, day one ended with 3,700 chips. Now he's over 3 million. Johnson with 6.1 million now.
Let's flip these young guys around, Steve.
I don't know if you're qualified.
At 34 and married, Eric skews old in today's poker universe. Just 6 tables in action now with 49 players remaining as we get back to the secondary table where Guillaume Darcourt is now the table leader. Irishman, Eoghan O'Dea under the gun, 9-8 off. And he folds. Sam Barnhart now with ace-queen.
Remember, he's got degrees in computer science and biology. When he got serious about poker, he read a ton about game theory. He's made himself into a good player.
Yeah, and he puts in a raise, 180,000. Anton Makievsky with the Ukrainian Jack Links beef jerky wild card hand, Norman.
Well, my grandfather was Lithuanian. I actually feel comfortable with the Ukrainian mindset.
Makievsky makes a call.
I'm going to go with B, 10-9 suited. I mentioned that Anton went to Taras Shevchenko National University. Shevchenko was a poet and a romanticist who loved suited connectors.
You're the one that's been getting good hands. You've been coming over the top of both of us.
That's just like your opinion, man.
All right, Vieira with 8-tray fold, so heads up.
Little Rock versus Kiev. And by the way, both cities have TGI Fridays.
Here's the flop. Queen, ace, 9. Barnhart flops top 2 pair and checks.
Barnhart gets sneaky. The Fridays in Kiev, by the way, is right on Bessarabka Square.
So you think Makievsky flopped bottom pair?
Check.
He checks.
Well, I'm ruling out C. He wouldn't check top pair, top kicker there.
8 of hearts on the turn. Barnhart with aces up. And 8 green chips. Yeah, 200,000.
Barnhart not much of a bluffer in this main event, so if I'm Anton, I'd have to think he has a hand. So on second thought, which is more thoughts than I usually have, I know I ruled out C before, but if Anton calls or raises here, I'm bringing it back.
All right. Anton with a call.
I'm completely ruling out D. By the way, last time I was in Ukraine, I ate boiled dumplings for a week.
So have you switched to C, the ace-king?
Yeah, he called, so C is a possibility. D is completely out of here.
All right, the river card is a king. Barnhart at 200,000 on the turn. Here's another 200,000.
Another popular dish over there, Lon, incidentally, is chicken Kiev.
Of course it is. It's in the Ukraine.
Small bet from Barnhart, crying for a call. But I actually think Anton might have hit aces and kings on the river.
Sam has Anton covered by about $1.2 million, and Anton here with a raise to 500,000.
Oh, that's aces and kings or a set of kings.
I call.
Barnhart calls. Makievsky shows ace-king to win the Jack Links beef jerky wild card hand. Congratulations.
I know Ukrainian cuisine. I know Ukrainian Jack Links beef jerky wild card hands.
Makievsky up to 3.6 million. Barnhart knocked down to 2.9 million. Sam can't believe his bad luck there, but ace-queen is a loser. For more on the World Series of Poker, visit ESPN.com/poker. Back to the featured table. Hilton Laborda looks down at pocket queens.
Laborda with the rare Ralph Lauren polo shirt, Brazilian national flag combo. That's actually a very tasteful, color-coordinated ensemble.
He started day 6 with $1.8 million, started this day 7 with 7.1, now with 8.7 million, a raise to 185,000. David Bach now with 10 deuce. This must be a makeup day for all the kings, queens, and aces he got earlier. Folded around to Doc Sands.
Is this the most hoodies we've ever seen at one table?
We get more every year. Ace-king for Stefano Albertini, the French pro.
Single, no children, once had a girlfriend whose eyes were brown.
In the small blind. A raise already from Laborda.
All in.
Albertini says all in for almost 2.8 million.
He pushes with 35 big blinds left.
Big blind Hewitt folds. Laborda quickly calls to put Albertini at risk.
France, Brazil, great soccer matchup at the poker table.
Segura, segura.
Segura means safe in his native language. Albertini looking for help. The flop, 10, 10, 8, no ace, no king for Albertini.
You have ace?
Laborda enjoying this. Turn card is a jack, gives Albertini a useless gut shot.
Yeah, straight no good for Albertini. The queen would give Laborda a full house.
River card is the queen.
Whoa!
And Laborda's boat will send Albertini packing.
Bora! Vamos! Bravo!
The flag celebrates, but does not shake hands.
Stefano Albertini says goodbye to his table mates, out in 46th place. His first ever World Series cash worth over $160,000. And how about this amateur Hilton Laborda, known mostly as that guy wearing the Brazilian flag? Well, now he is the chip leader on day 7. You gotta love the main event. Just 5 tables left in the Amazon room. Everyone now guaranteed $196,000. Let's take a look at some chip counts for the featured table. Laborda and Lenaghan, the only players in the room above 10 million. Word from the outer tables is Erik Lindgren has lost a couple coin flips. He's now below $1 million.
First, I had to worry about a guy with pink hair winning the main event. Now it could be a guy wearing his national flag like a dinner jacket. Why can't it just be a guy in a cowboy hat?
Like David Bach. Bach on the Jack Link's beef jerky whole cam with 2 red queens.
He's got a psychology degree, former pro bowler, 50K horse world champion in 09.
He's also got the short stack at this table, but a raise to $180,000. Folded to Ryan Lenaghan with pocket 8s.
I'll take a psychology degree over a general studies degree any day of the week. What the heck is general studies?
Lenaghan with a re-raise to $330,000.
See, general studies teaches you to 3-bet with the worst hand.
Fabio Sosa, the other Brazilian, folds to John Hewitt from Costa Rica, ace-king.
23-year-old pro, born in Chicago.
I'm all in.
And a 4-bet re-raise all in. To Martin Staszko from the Czech Republic. He lays it down. Laborda with 7-5 suited. Even he won't consider that. Back now to Bach.
Bach, the original raiser, now staring at that 4-bet. Hewitt has Bach covered by almost 700,000 chips.
I'm all in also.
Bach calls all in.
Makes that easy.
Lenaghan with 8s. No longer.
Good luck, man.
Thank you.
So Hewitt with ace-king will try to knock out David Bach.
The main event hangs in the balance for both of them. If Hewitt loses, he'll have 8 big blinds left. If Bach loses, he is out.
A key moment for both. Here's the flop. Ace, king, king. Hewitt hits the jackpot. Bach needs running miracles. And that ends it.
You should have called, man.
Yeah, Hewitt wishing Lenaghan were in the hand as well, but as it stands, David Bach knocked out.
The likable David Bach out in a bang. He had a lot of big hands. A big hand finally undoes David Bach.
David proudly wears his 50K horse bracelet, but he will not be collecting the main event version this year.
That's a bad flop for me, though.
With that pot, John Hewitt working his way back to even for the day.
Más fácil, corazón.
So the featured table and the main event loses a very tough player. At an outer table, we see that Ruben Visser has been eliminated. You may remember him as a player who made a premature call against Alan Cunningham at the featured table on day 5. He finishes in 44th place.
He's a kid without a dream.
All right, at one of the few remaining outer tables, Erik Lindgren whittled down to 625,000, moved all in with pocket 4s. Steve Brecker with pocket jacks called and will try to send Eoghan out the door.
The 65-year-old Brecker, the oldest player left in the field. Lindgren had under 8 big blinds left.
The flop 7 trace 6, some hope for Erik flopping a gut shot.
Eoghan triples his meager outs there.
Turn card is another 6, no help to Lindgren.
Lindgren's got to have a 4 or a 5.
The river card, the deuce of diamonds, and after grinding so hard, Lindgren can't believe it's over.
Tip your dealers and floor staff, you win.
Lindgren was down to 3,700 chips at the end of day 1. A long, impressive, short-stacked run for Eoghan.
Brutal.
Steve Brecker sends Eric Lindgren to the payout cage to collect over $196,000. So here's how the leaderboard looks at the moment. Laborda flips his way into the chip lead. Guillaume Darcourt surging, courtesy of Ben Lamb's chips. Unfortunately for Eric Lindgren, his chip count is 0. He's now with Kara Scott.
It's really difficult for some people to understand on the outside that you start to look at the final table, you're getting closer. It's quite disappointing, isn't it?
You know it is, but it's not as big of a deal as people make. I mean, there's still 44 people left, so I've never been happy with 44th in a tournament in my life, and I'm not today.
I hear that you wanted to get just a few places ahead, though, as well. Yeah. Tell me about this.
There is that. I'd had a side bet with Tom Dwan, and I needed like $2,000 more, so if I could have made it to 36, it would have been a little nice, but we all know Tom never loses.
That's the truth. Thanks so much.
All right, thanks, Kara.
From Russia to Belize.
I won!
Australia to France.
There is more and more very, very good French player.
Germany to Ukraine. South Africa to the USA. It's a global battlefield right here in the heart of Las Vegas.
European players are usually really much more aggressive.
6 continents, dozens of countries.
Let's go, Belize!
Brazil! 42 players left and 2 Brazilians on center stage.
Brazil!
This is truly the World Series of Poker. Welcome to the Rio in the heart of Las Vegas for continuing coverage of Day 7 of the World Series of Poker Main Event presented by Jack Link's Beef Jerky. The field in the Amazon room is dwindling, which means the payouts are increasing. 42 players left in this 2011 main event.
We got our buddy Devo in there. We got the energy dome working.
Former rafting guide Bryan Devonshire has chipped up rapidly.
He's a local favorite, and I believe Las Vegas counts as a separate nation.
German Pius Heinz was once a chip leader.
Oh man, he's probably just 1 6-bet away from being chip leader again.
Russian Andrey Pateychuk is a sports columnist in his spare time.
Often called the Norman Chad of Moscow, might be the smartest guy in the room then.
And at the featured table, this international field has 2 Brazilians, each an amateur. Auto body shop owner Fabio Souza.
I took my car into him 3 weeks ago. Cannot get it back.
And the chip leader businessman Hilton Laborda.
The man in the green cape has the most chips. It doesn't seem possible.
The broad international representation is reflected in the leaderboard. 5 countries in the top 8, with Brazil in the lead, Frenchman Guillaume Darcourt and American Ryan Lenaghan, both with over 10 million.
You cannot ignore John Paul Kelly, Britain's J.P. Kelly. He's got 2 bracelets, and he's got a ton of talent.
Ben Lamb off the leaderboard now, sits with a solid stack of $6.5 million. Action on Darcourt on the Jack Link's Beef Jerky Pocket Cam, 9-5 of clubs.
He created his own company when he was 20, selling advertising for TV and radio. Now specializes in playing 9-5 with a big stack.
And raising with those rags to $175,000 over to Chilean pro Nicholas Fierro with ace-queen.
He finished 3rd at a no-limit event at this year's World Series.
And he makes the call to Irish son of a poker player, Eoghan O'Dea.
His father, Donica, an Irish poker legend, 1 bracelet and 7 World Series final tables, including twice at the main event.
Grandpa O'Dea also played, and he makes a raise to $500,000 with 9-8 off. Folded over to the big blind, Anton Makievsky, he folds, so back to Darcourt now.
I don't know if the French language version of Super System addresses 9-5 out of position.
He does make the call for $325 more.
At 3.3 in total.
I know the English version of Super System addresses Ace-Queen because Doyle Brunson hates the hand.
Fierro has O'Dea covered.
I call.
Darcourt has everyone at this table covered. Fierro calls.
And O'Dea thinking, I've got 9-8 off. I wasn't looking for 2 callers.
Yeah, the re-steal attempt is a fail. Jack Queen deuce. Fierro feels better about his hand now with top pair, top kicker. Darcourt checked. Fierro checks.
Top pair, top kicker checks? Go get a haircut then.
O'Dea with a gut shot. And he checks. Turn card is a 10, and O'Dea turns the queen high straight. Darcourt checks again. Fierro with a Broadway draw checks.
Again, I don't know what Fierro is in the hand for. O'Dea knows he's in great shape unless someone is slow playing a bigger straight.
O'Dea, no check this time. Will try to earn some chips with his straight. 650,000. Darcourt quickly folds.
Fierro top pair with a gut shot to the nut straight. As it turns out, he's dead to a king, but he's got to play, no?
He does make the call. A chance to overtake O'Dea here. River card. 7 of clubs does nothing for Fierro. And Fierro checks. I don't know if O'Dea can get any more from him, but he has to try. A lot of green chips. 1.6 million. That's about half of Fierro's remaining stack, and it looks to have him a little uncomfortable. Fierro's girlfriend lending her support here.
Listen, series king or a 6 bluff.
Isn't nice hand English for I fold?
I thought so.
Maybe not.
Something lost in the translation. Fierro finally kicks it in. And boy, does he want to see O'Dea's cards. Good fold by the Chilean.
O'Dea's father did not encourage him to play poker, but hey, it's in the genes.
The poker boom happened several years ago, yet the game continues to grow. How else to explain the continued influx of 20-somethings, as well as the impressive international representation here at the World Series? Normally, the game may have the same rules all over the globe, but there are many ways to translate success at the main event.
The leaderboard on day 7 reads like a currency exchange booth. Right now, Brazilian chips have the most value, which shows you that anything is possible in this global poker economy. In fact, these days, poker knows no boundaries worldwide. 6 continents were represented in this main event. So next year, I say, Antarctica, let's do it! You're used to cold decks, so what could go wrong in Las Vegas?
Antarctica? Only penguins live there full-time, but some are over 21, so who knows? Folded to Ben Lamb with pocket kings. Lamb with a raise to 170,000. Guillaume Darcourt with ace-jack offsuit.
He won the 2010 WPT title in Romania without pink hair in a penguin-free field.
Darcourt with a re-raise to 440,000.
Darcourt sending a message to Lamb. I've seen you bully everyone pre-flop. You're not bullying me.
Darcourt has gotten the better of Ben lately. The button and small blind fold. J.P. Kelly in the big blind fold. So back to Lamb now.
Raise.
Ben Lamb announces raise. 1.1. So a 4-bet to 1,100,000.
Lamb sends a message back to Darcourt. Listen, you pink-haired pretender. I've got a hand once in a while. Darcourt, of course, does have a bigger stack than Ben.
Ben picked up kings against Darcourt's aces a short time ago at this table and lost the minimum to the Frenchman. Darcourt calls for 660,000 more.
Darcourt telling Lamb, I've got position, and you might have a problem.
2.4 million in the middle. Here's the flop. 10 Jack Queen, a pair of jacks for Darcourt, each with a straight draw.
That's the type of flop that's got to worry each one about the other.
Action on Lamb.
1.2.
1.2 million, half the pot.
Darcourt seems like he's dug in for the long haul in this hand. Middle pair, a gut shot to the nut straight.
Darcourt with a lot of those purple chips, a minimum raise to 2.4 million.
This is a tricky spot for Ben Lamb. Darcourt could have a set, or he could have ace-king, and Darcourt could bust him.
Ben Lamb at a critical moment of his main event.
Small in.
Moves all in.
Wow.
Oh my goodness.
Lamb Darcourt has turned into Hagler Hearns. What a newfound rivalry.
How can Darcourt call this? And he doesn't. And Ben Lamb takes a huge pot.
Good read. That's why you want Ben Lamb in your corner these days.
What a shifting of the tide with that hand. Ben Lamb plays his way back onto the leaderboard with 10.6 million chips. Good for third place. Darcourt's stack plummets by 35% as he tries to avoid a complete meltdown. Back at the 2011 World Series of Poker main event presented by Jack Link's Beef Jerky. A field of 6,865 started. We're now down to only 42 players. For a report from the outer tables, let's check in with Kara Scott.
Things are changing quickly out here as players are busting out and we're having to rebalance the tables. We're down to 3 outer tables plus the 2 features. When we get to 36, we'll be breaking another one out here, and when we get to 27 players, we'll be shuffling it up with a redraw. At the moment, the chip leader for the outer tables is Phil Collins. He's a professional poker player we saw quite a bit of at our feature table. He's closely followed by Andrey Pateychuk. He's a Russian player, and he's at about 10.8 million at the moment.
Add one of those outer tables. Tri Huynh has a big decision with top 2 pair as Nelson Robinson just pushed with an open-ended straight draw and over 3.5 million chips.
Robinson puts the pressure on Huynh. Hard to fold top 2, but this is for most of his stack as well.
Must be ahead here. There's no way I'm behind. You have like a combo draw or something? I call.
With the 2 pair, Huynh makes the call to put Robinson at risk.
Robinson pushed on the draw. The 25-year-old from Winston-Salem, North Carolina, against the 33-year-old from Vancouver.
Robinson's first cash of this World Series. The turn card is a queen pairs Robinson, and that doubles his outs.
Yeah, Robinson just picked up a lot more ways to survive. 16 outs.
The river card is one of those outs. Robinson wins it with a better 2 pair, earning him 7.5 million chips.
Huynh down to 8 big blinds.
Ship it. Oh, what? How much is it?
Almost all that you have, Mr. Huynh. What a boost to Robinson.
You say drinks on me?
Nelson Robinson has a busy schedule here at the main event. Poker player by day, lead singer of the Black Crowes by night.
All right, let's get back to the featured table. The chip leader at this table and in the room is Hilton Laborda. Norman, imagine the flags people would wear next year if he won it all.
Lon, if this guy wins the main event, I'm switching to video poker.
Folded to John Esposito. He has hung with so many legends of the game through his years. Queen Jack of Diamonds on the Jack Link's Beef Jerky hole cam.
Yeah, if this guy wins the main event, Lon, Las Vegas will celebrate. An old school rounder you gotta love.
He raises to $175,000. David Doc Sands and his girlfriend Erika Moutinho are still in the event. He folds to Ryan Lenaghan, king queen off.
When Lenaghan rests his left hand on his right shoulder, he seldom raises. He's saying, I come in peace.
And he does just call peacefully to Fabio Sosa in the small blind with deuces.
Mowing.
And he moves all in for over 1.6 million.
That's an all-in that doesn't want any calls.
Big blind John Hewitt folds. Back to Esposito now. And his queen jack into the muck. Now Lenaghan.
One more to get by for Sosa.
It's 1.6.
Not quite 15% of Lenaghan's stack.
Call.
I knew he smooth called me with a hand here.
So Sosa at risk with his deuces. That he's in a coin flip for his tournament life.
Sosa, one of the 2 Brazilian amateurs here at the feature table. The other one, Laborda, is the chip leader of the main event. Sosa just hoping to survive.
Sosa hanging with his support group on the rail. Here's the flop. He's at risk. 10-10-4. Sosa still alive.
You get the feeling these moments mean more to Sosa than most of the remaining field.
Turn card is a 7. Sosa still good, but not out of danger.
The Brazilian still has to dodge a lot of cards. A king, queen, 4 or 7 would knock out Fabio Sosa.
The river card is a 7, and that counterfeits Sosa's deuces. Lenaghan's king kicker will play a heartbreaking end to this Brazilian's main event. Sosa, 42nd place, wins over $196,000.
One Brazilian amateur embraces the other.
Sosa, the recreational player, chipped up steadily in the main event, but it all comes to a screeching halt at the hands of Ryan Lenaghan, who is back in the main event chip lead.
Good playing with you.
Well, history is repeating itself. This time it's Erika Moutinho who joins her boyfriend David Sands at the feature table. Main event dating game part 2.
7 just doubled. Oh, I'm supposed to get a kiss. He wants me to get a kiss.
Don't do it, don't do it, don't do it! Ah, I hate to see that.
Thank you, thank you. All right. Time for work.
Sands and Moutinho, just one of a handful of notable pairs at this main event. Doyle Brunson didn't cash, but his son Todd did. 05 world champ Joe Hashem busted early, but his brother Tony still has chips.
I guess David and Erika are the best looking pair in that group, edging out Doyle and Todd Brunson.
I'd probably have to give her some extra equity or something. She knows my game too well.
Wouldn't that be awesome if you guys played heads up, she just ran you over, like just destroyed you?
The happy couple sit with the two shortest stacks at this featured table. Moutinho with about 600,000 more. Those are pocket queens for Hilton Laborda.
By the way, not only is America's couple at the same table again, now they're next to each other. If they make the November 9, I assume they'll be sitting in each other's lap.
Laborda, literally and figuratively carrying the flag for Brazil, makes a raise to 190,000. John Esposito with king-queen suited makes the call. Moutinho on the button, lays it down.
You know, in Monopoly, sometimes you combine your properties. Can they pool their chips together?
No, they cannot. Sands folds over to Ryan Lenaghan in the small blind with two black aces.
He was a walk-on on the LSU track and field team for 2 years, but gave up running in favor of sitting at the poker table and getting dealt pocket aces.
The top stack in the tournament, a re-raise to 625,000. Laborda just 5,000 below Lenaghan.
Yeah, virtually identical big stacks, so this is a danger zone for the Brazilian.
And a call from Laborda, so the action back to Esposito.
He won a limit hold'em bracelet in 1999. Espo does not have a big stack and does not have a big hand here. Just to call another 435 is 12% of his stack.
And the two biggest stacks in the room already in the pot.
You know what? Let
And
these
so
two guys go
Esposito will exit.
Good decision.
Here we go, the two big stacks in the 2011 main event squaring off. The flop, 7-9-5. Lenaghan's aces hold their big advantage, but he checks it to Laborda.
Lenaghan wants to play the trapping game, and it looks like Laborda might oblige.
Well, Laborda has not shied away from being aggressive. Bets 755,000.
Lenaghan looks like an online guy, but he prefers playing live. Laborda looks like a man, but he's actually a national flag with lips.
Lenaghan with the best hand. Just makes the call.
No check raise from Lenaghan.
All right, so the turn now. Tray of spades puts a third spade out there, gives Lenaghan the nut flush draw. He checks again.
I assume Lenaghan is still trapping.
Laborda checks behind him.
Laborda curiously slows down.
River card. Jack of hearts misses Laborda. Lenaghan checks. They both check. Queens aren't going to do it. Ryan Lenaghan will take that pot.
But Ryan Lenaghan didn't make much off that hand. Laborda let off the hook.
The two big stacks in the room playing cautiously against each other.
Played it bad. Thanks for two aces.
So Laborda versus Lenaghan was flag versus hoodie, which raises the question, what should be worn at a poker table?
The proper attire for poker is anything.
Not what I'm wearing.
I think you should just keep it tasteful.
I want to see more than a few people wearing sweatpants.
On different days, I might feel like suiting up, and on a different day, I might feel like coming in basketball shorts and a tee.
Today, unfortunately, I was told I had to wear a nice shirt.
A hoodie and an iPod, sunglasses.
Maybe a hoodie in case it gets cold.
Hoodies when I'm cold, but other than that, that's it.
I don't want my mother or father to see me on television without the proper attire. So those are the only times I suck it up.
Not what you see out there, that's for sure.
If you're online, you can play in your birthday suit for all I care, but in public, please remember you're in public.
All right, let's get to the secondary table. Bryan Devonshire opened the action with King-Jack of clubs under the gun with a raise to 210,000. Action on Ben Lamb with Queen-10 of hearts. And Lamb comes along. Darcourt can't play this time. Nicolas Fierro, Queen-5 of diamonds.
This table gets about a C- for attire. T-shirts, hoodies, and a San Francisco Giants jersey brings down the grade.
Watch your mouth, boy. A re-raise to 555,000 to Eoghan O'Dea.
That's a feisty 3-bet from Fierro.
O'Dea lays it down. J.P. Kelly gets out of the way.
There was a time where you'd wear a coat and tie when you got into an airplane. That's stupid. But a coat and tie at a poker table, I like that.
Barnhart folds his small blind. In the big blind, Anton Makievsky 9-6 of diamonds.
9-6 suited, 2 raises in front of him, and he's thinking.
In the big blind. Fierro made the last raise to over $500,000.
All in.
And Makievsky moves all in for over $3.7 million. He saw a lot of chips out there, Norman.
That move is audacious. A 4-bet all in with 9-6.
Devo and Lamb folded now. Fierro. Oh, yeah, gotta fold. And what a play by Makievsky.
My goodness. Scratch Makievsky off the home game list, Lon.
Tempting fate and some bigger stacks with 9-6 suited.
No info.
Head's still busy exploding.
Huh?
My head is still busy exploding.
Welcome back to the Rio. Day 7 continues here at the 2011 main event. 41 players left, each guaranteed almost $200,000, but they all know that $8.7 million awaits the winner.
I'm still shivering over Anton Makievsky, 4-betting all in with 9-6. Squeeze play of the year.
Indeed, what we have seen from the Ukrainian has told us he has some great reads. Hilton Laborda with ace-8 of hearts.
By the way, any table in which anyone is wearing a flag gets an F for a tire.
A raise under the gun to 220. John Esposito with queen-jack of hearts.
Espo dresses like a poker player, gambler, golfer.
He'll try again. He's been raised out of the pot a couple of times recently. And we saw the piece on fashion, Norman, and sad to say that Esposito with that golf shirt is the height of sartorial splendor at this table. All right, folded around to Martin Staszko from the Czech Republic. Pocket deuces.
Staszko going with the rare T-shirt over the short sleeve collared shirt. They say fashion travels west. It's probably huge in Trinnic.
Call. And he calls.
He reminds me of Robin Williams in Moscow on the Hudson.
So 3 players will see this flop. 4 tray ace. Staszko picks up a wheel draw. He checks. Laborda got top pair.
I would have bet Staszko's hand. I would bet Laborda's hand now.
But Laborda checks, and Esposito checks.
If I were Espo, I just would have mucked.
Tray of spades on the turn. Laborda still ahead with aces up now. Staszko with straight and flush draws.
Can't we put a straight flush draw alert on the screen like that stat alert ESPN loves to put up?
Staszko with the lesser 2 pair bets $285,000.
Take that, Cape Laborda. Another reason to hate the weak ace. Laborda has no idea where he is in the hand right now. He's ahead.
Laborda is ahead and just makes the call as Esposito gets out of the way quickly. So heads up to the river. It is a 5, and there's the wheel for Staszko. Laborda second best again. It's not his night.
Staszko, one of the older players left in the main event at 35.
And he bets it $675,000.
What do you do now with aces up?
You take a very close look at your opponent.
Well, indeed, Laborda gazing longingly at Staszko. Laborda wondering if it's a bluff.
Laborda started the hand with over 10 million, makes the call, and he will give away some chips to the Czech Republic.
What's the Czech word for boha?
I don't know what Laborda saw to make him call, but it shrinks his stack a little more. And the under-the-radar Martin Staszko with more than 6 million chips now in the main event.
Yeah, he's sitting on 60 big blinds. That's pretty healthy.
Yeah, about $1 million above the current chip average for Martin Staszko. We now take a quick look at the 3 outer tables. Phil Collins continues to play and run well.
He says he's playing relaxed, and he looks relaxed with 10 million chips.
Belize's Bob Bunara is boisterous, but his chips are quiet today.
Yeah, down to 16 big blinds. He doesn't have talking chips.
And as expected, Ben Lamb a factor once again.
Looks so trusting, plays so tricky.
Back at the secondary featured table, the seat next to Darcourt now empty. That used to belong to Lamb. As players are eliminated, the officials do rebalance the table, so Lamb has been moved. 2 aces for Bryan Devonshire.
Devonshire once had aspirations in baseball as a pitcher, but blew his arm out in high school.
He said he's having a once-in-a-lifetime experience, enjoying every moment of this main event. And with the aces, he raises to $230,000. Next in line, Scott Schwalek with 9-6 off from the button, and he folds. Guillaume Darcourt with 2 kings.
And what a bad time for 2 kings. Darcourt in position to lose most of his stack here.
A re-raise from Darcourt to 475, and another matchup of big hands for Darcourt.
Well, we have seen such pre-flop aggression lately. If you're Darcourt, there's no reason to believe that if there were a 4-bet from Devonshire, that would mean pocket aces.
Devonshire pulling his original raise back in.
Here comes the Devo fastball.
There you go, the 4-bet to $1,000,001.
Darcourt's got Devonshire covered. Doubt he'll just call the re-raise here.
So you fans at home think it's easy to play big hands, huh?
I'm all in.
Here we go.
Call.
Devo calls all in his aces against Darcourt's kings.
Devonshire looking for a big double up. Darcourt staring at just 21 big blinds if he loses here.
Devonshire in line to make 8 million chips.
What carreau, what big? What big?
And the flop, Trey Queen, no threat to the aces. Darcourt needs some help.
Devonshire more dominating with that flop.
Turn card, another queen. Devonshire a card away from doubling through Darcourt.
Darcourt's got to have a king. Devonshire on the cusp of 8 million chips.
The river card. The 10 of hearts gives the hand to Bryan Devonshire. What a blow to the Frenchman.
Cover, how much?
Just under 4.
Darcourt's smooth main event journey just hit a big cold deck in the road.
Devo's fans having fun. Darcourt is not. After losing 2/3 of his chips, he now sits with less than half the chip average. For Devonshire, a key double up to 8.1 million, and that's worthy of several high fives.
I think that headgear can double his trash pails.
Well, the Frenchman knows he still has some room to play, but time is running short. The mouse gave way to the felt at the 10K six-handed no-limit hold'em event as 2 tough online pros battled heads up for the bracelet. In the end, Joe Ebanks defeated Chris Moorman to win the title, along with the first $1 million payday of the 2011 World Series. Ebanks banked over $1.1 million and his first piece of jewelry.
It's something I've been working for 5 years of my life, and it's never happened, so it's great.
Ebanks joins a select group this year. Just 3 events have first place prizes of more than $1 million.
Of course, the largest payout in World Series history, Jamie Gold in the 06 main event, $12 million.
And want to mention that Phil Hellmuth had his first $1 million payout of his career, second place in the Poker Players Championship providing that. One player who knows something about success in the main event is Eoghan O'Dea, whose even-keeled personality is definitely an asset.
Eoghan O'Dea from Dublin, Ireland. I think I'm pretty good at reading people, kind of picking off tells. I'm pretty kind of relaxed at the table. I don't really get too impatient. I think, some people, they lose a huge part of their stack and they kind of blow up a bit. Kind of would never really do that. So pretty kind of disciplined in that area.
He learned to play poker by watching late-night poker on British TV. Frankly, he shouldn't even have been up that late.
Action here at the secondary feature table on Scott Schwalek. Ace-8 offsuit.
He learned to play poker the old-fashioned way, online.
A raise to $220,000. Darcourt will sit this one out. Nicolas Fierro in the small blind lays his hand down to the big blind. Eoghan O'Dea and the Irishman with the Jack Link's beef jerky wild card hand.
Lon, if I made my living by guessing wild card hands, I'd be living under a bridge.
But a very nice bridge. You're batting over 400. O'Dea calls for $120,000.
Call from the big blind. I'm going to put him on B, a pocket pair. But frankly, I think he should have raised with it.
All right, heads up to the flop. 7, Trey King. Mystery hand, O'Dea to act first. And he checks. Schwalek now. Missed the flop. But bets 225.
Continuation bet from Schwalek. O'Dea could call here with any of the multiple choice hands. If he raises, then we've got to talk.
No raise, a check call.
Hoping he's got the 6s.
Turn card. There is a 6 on the turn.
He could have a set of 6s.
Perhaps. He checks. Schwalik checks.
I know nothing, so I will say nothing.
River card. And ace. There's a pair of aces now for Schwalik. Third hard on board.
If O'Dea made a flush or has a set of 6s, he'll bet.
He checks the third time.
I guess O'Dea might have a pair of 7s, but I don't know why he would have played 8-7 off to begin with.
Schwalik.
Schwalik decides to get busy rivering a pair of aces.
Got some purples and some greens. That totals $650,000.
Okay, this moment should finally define Mr. O'Dea's hand.
It'll all crystallize right here. O'Dea with more purple. A raise, a check raise to 1.6 million and change.
Oh, really? You mean he just sat on the nut flush or a set of 6s and knew he'd get a bet? What is he, a neurosurgeon? Wow.
I almost just checked the back.
O'Dea hadn't made a peep the whole hand till the river check raise.
Schwalik lays his hand down. O'Dea had 8-7 and bluffs his way to win the Jack Link's Beef Jerky wild card hand.
I was so confounded at every turn, I believe I deserved 2 losses for that hand. If Schwalik had checked, he would have won a $1 million chip pot. And of course, it goes without saying, O'Dea is off my home game list. Great play.
The check raised by the Irishman at just the right moment. Schwalik saw so many reasons to fold. For more on the World Series of Poker, visit ESPN.com/poker. At an outer table, Mario Silvestri with pocket 8s moved all in for $2 million. He was called by Qua Win with pocket queens. Then Frank Sinopoli moved all in with pocket aces, and Win called him.
Sinopoli in great position for a triple up.
Here's the flop, a queen in there. Win flops a set, putting a dagger in the hopes of Silvestri and Sinopoli.
And Win, 29-year-old pro and businessman from Calgary, now poised for a double knockout.
The turn card. Another queen. Win scores the double knockout with quads. Sinopoli out, Silvestri out.
Remember, Silvestri got that 1-round penalty when he was short-stacked, and what an ugly finish for Florida pro Frankie Sinopoli.
So Qua Win adds $4.5 million to his store as he's knocking on the door of $11 million. Mario Silvestri out in 39th. Both he and Sinopoli, who is the 38th place finisher, will collect over $196,000. Qua Win now in 4th place in this main event. Ryan Lenaghan, the current chip leader in the house with $15 million plus. Let's get back to the featured table where Lenaghan sits right now. He folded. Action on Matt Giannetti right now with pocket queens.
Giannetti reminds me a bit of Tex Barch, who made the 05 main event final table. Very quiet, very steady.
A raise to $220,000. Staszko folds to Hilton Laborda on the button, sitting with almost $10 million. King 9 of clubs on the Jack Link's Beef Jerky hole cam.
You know, I read that in Brazil, foreign flags can only be flown with a Brazilian flag along its right side. So since we're here in Las Vegas, it seems to me that Martin Staszko should be wearing the American flag next to Laborda.
Espo folds a small ace from the small blind. Moutinho the same small ace folded from the big blind. So heads up. Giannetti with the queens, Laborda with king 9 suited. Here's the flop. It is queen 10-6 all clubs. Laborda with the flush. Giannetti flopped a set.
Action flop like in the movies.
My goodness.
Giannetti could go bust here.
A bet of $300,000.
Laborda with the second nut flush, and the jack of clubs would give him a straight flush. Laborda staring at Giannetti and trying to get a peek under the brim of the cap.
Hilton with a move forward with chips, perhaps trying to get some reaction from Giannetti, but Giannetti is oblivious.
Yeah, you can't go forward and then come back.
Yeah, forward motion, so Laborda has to just make the call.
He gets a slap on the wrist and makes the call. All right, turn card. 9 of diamonds. Laborda's still good, now a 4-1 favorite.
Did Giannetti even see the turn card?
I'm not sure about that. That longhorn cap is pulled down low. He checks this time. Laborda. Wow. Under 10 seconds he bets, $420,000.
He's usually deliberate. Quickly makes a small bet. Giannetti might be thinking check raise. Laborda's got a great angle on Giannetti's chin.
Trying to get a look under the hat, as you mentioned, and get into the head of Giannetti. Giannetti makes the call. And Laborda seems unimpressed. All right, the river card. And that pairs the board, and that gives the hand back to Giannetti with queens full of nines.
Oh, my goodness.
And Giannetti checks again.
I've got to believe Laborda thinks his flush is still good. I would.
Laborda figuring out some bet that Giannetti would call, from his point of view at least. $2 million, and Hilton, you'd better duck.
Well, Laborda bets the size of the pot. Giannetti wondering how much more now he can get out of Laborda.
Giannetti has over 5.2 million behind. What a battle here.
All in.
And Giannetti pushes it all in.
This is for half of Hilton Laborda's remaining stack.
What could he have? What could he have?
Big pot. Big pot.
Call.
There it is.
That's an 8-knuckle pot.
Here we go now. What's up? I know exactly what he had. That's why I'm trapping. Thank you.
Giannetti in second place now with almost 13 million.
3,260,000.
Giannetti gets lucky. Laborda gets leveled.
Bring in the twos. Make sure that's
bad luck for Hilton Laborda after flopping that flush. He is now knocked down to almost 3.5 million chips. Matt Giannetti played the hand and his opponent to perfection, and now has a Texas-sized stack to show for it.
Well done, Longhorn.
Thank you, sir. All in. Call. Here we go now. I know exactly what he had. That's why I'm trapping. Thank you.
Matt Giannetti just announced himself in a big way at this main event. For some analysis on that last hand, let's check in with Phil Hellmuth.
Wow. I cannot believe how badly Laborda played this hand on the river. What was he thinking? There's $2 million in the pot. He has a king-high flush. It's a strong hand, but the board is paired. Okay, so you bet $2 million at $2 million with a flush. I can't criticize that so much. I'd rather see him bet $1 million or a number that his opponent could call if he doesn't have a flush. But now his opponent, a tight player, Giannetti, moves all in. And you call with a flush? Not even the nut flush with the board paired? Giannetti might not have even raised if he had 10-9. I mean, he probably had to have tens full or queens full to even put it all in like that. And you could see when Laborda called, he had his hand out like this, ready to fold it like, I'm going to give you 3.4 million, but I'm going to muck my hand because I know you have me beat. Fold it! Don't put 5.4 million into 2 million with a flush.
Hilton, tell the poker brat you're still sitting here and he's not. You know, even if he was right, Matt Giannetti is thankful.
To an outer table, Tony Hashem may have made his last play all in with 8-7 of diamonds, called by Kenny Shee with ace-jack. Here's the flop, and there's an ace! Bad news for Tony Hashem as Shee puts him on the brink.
And now there'd have to be runner-runner for the Hashem main event double to remain a possibility.
Turn card, tray of spades, and that will settle things. Tony Hashem drawing dead, knocked out of the 2011 main event.
Tony Hashem's out of chips, and somewhere Ben Lamb is smiling.
37th place will give Tony some big bickies, as they say down under. $196,000, his best live tournament score. Kenny Shee with $2.5 million below chip average, but still one of the lucky 36 who have a seat in the main event.
Joe Hashem won it all in 05. Tony Hashem falls short with a deep run in 2011.
All right, back to the featured table, folded to Hilton Laborda. Some starch has gone out of that Brazilian flag and its bearer. Ace tray of clubs.
Raised to $220,000.
Raised to $220,000.
Laborda wedded to the weak ace.
Laborda sitting with only about 2.5 million chips right now. Moutinho folds. Her boyfriend, Doc Sands, immediately to her left with King 10.
Speaking of wedded, if and when these two tie the knot, I'll say this. I've been around a lot of marriages, many of them my own, and this pair seems to have something special.
Sands lays it down. On the button, Ryan Lenaghan folds to Matt Giannetti in the small blind. Giannetti with a couple of deuces.
After day one here, Giannetti's girlfriend told him she wanted to take a break from the relationship, and Matt says the main event is making him feel better about himself.
He makes the call with the deuces. Big blind Hewitt folds, so heads up once again Giannetti and Laborda.
Generally, I turn to blackjack after my women walk out on me.
That's a lot of blackjack. 8-5-7 Giannetti's small pocket pair stands tall.
Check.
He checks.
Check.
Laborda checks. Turn card. The deuce of clubs, a set for Giannetti. Laborda picks up a straight flush draw. Giannetti checks.
We should have that straight flush draw alert flashing.
That's right.
Boy, how did Giannetti know Laborda would be taking a stab here?
Laborda bets 280,000.
280,000 is the bet.
Giannetti with a better than 3-to-1 advantage right now. And there's the raise to 675,000.
675 total. 675 total.
It appears to be 675 total.
Laborda with a big draw.
Call.
Will make that call.
Giannetti versus Laborda, round 2, and it's increasingly intriguing.
All right, the river card. The 7 of clubs pairs the board. Another boat for Giannetti. Another club flush. The nut flush for Laborda.
What a disaster card for Hilton Laborda. Giannetti's got him.
And Giannetti with a bigger stack now puts Laborda all in.
Laborda's got the nut flush. It was checked on the flop, then Giannetti check raised him on the turn. Suddenly this is for the rest of Laborda's chips. And I know we heard Phil Hellmuth mention Giannetti's a tight player, but I couldn't lay this down.
Perhaps the last drink for a dying man. And Laborda has to think he can't have it again, can he?
If he calls here, Hilton Laborda will fly at half-mast.
Go.
He does call, and that will end Laborda's main event. Giannetti does it again.
Bang, bang.
Wow.
That's sick.
A stunning turn of events for Giannetti and for Laborda. Matt Giannetti is the new tournament chip leader.
Hilton Laborda was a chip leader earlier today, but 2 hands against Giannetti leave Laborda with no chips.
A promising day for the Brazilian turned ugly in a hurry.
All in.
Go.
Matt Giannetti now the man to beat with 35 players left. 2 Russians tangling at an outer table. That is Alexander Mozhnikov with pocket 7s. He was just re-raised by Andrey Pateychuk with ace-king. And a re-raise all in from Mozhnikov for almost $5 million.
Pateychuk has almost double the chip stack of Mozhnikov.
Pateychuk plays mostly online, but his 10 million chip stack says he knows something about the nuances of the live game as well.
Absolutely. 5,000 short of 5 million, so 495. Would you like me to pull that in? Okay, cool.
Pateychuk makes the call to put Mozhnikov at risk.
Pateychuk 21, Mozhnikov 25. A race for a 10 million chip pot.
Here's the flop. Deuce 9-6, no ace, no king for Pateychuk. Mozhnikov's pocket 7 still ahead. Turn card is a 5. Mozhnikov still ahead.
One of those main event moments. Mozhnikov either will be among the chip leaders or he'll be out of here. He's got to dodge an ace or a king.
It is a tray, and Mozhnikov doubles up to 10.2 million. And Pateychuk has his stack cut in half.
The Russians pretty much will swap chip stacks with that result.
Mozhnikov seems very pleased with himself, and why not?
You know, I spotted Mozhnikov fishing at the Venetian the other day.
Pateychuk will be fishing for more chips after losing over 5 million in that hand. I'll look at some notable chip stacks. Hines with 5.2 million, Collins with almost 9 million, Ben Lamb working on 12 million. At the secondary feature table, Makievsky with pocket 9s.
I rebut.
And look who's back, Ben
Oh
Lamb.
my God, you back?
But a little deeper. We'll add on to the stack.
What? What was the deal?
I added on and came back.
Lamb's a nice fella, but nobody at this table happy to see him and his chips back.
He wasn't even playing over there. He just stayed around.
I just hung in the back.
Back in his old seat next to Darcourt. Darcourt with Jack 10 suited.
Darcourt usually doesn't don the hood until he's in a hand.
I heard you had the ace.
Makievsky opened the action to 250,000.
Right? So think how sick that is.
Yeah.
And Darcourt re-raises all in for over 1.7 million.
He was down to 17 big blinds.
Eoghan O'Dea next.
Darcourt, like Hilton Laborda, has seen a good day gone bad.
O'Dea with a weak ace, folds. J.P. Kelly folds his big blind. Back to Makievsky.
1.725.
This would be for less than 1/3 of Makievsky's stack.
He calls to put Darcourt at risk. After being such a strong player in the main event, the French businessman in danger of elimination.
The 21-year-old looking for the knockout. The 38-year-old amateur looking to extend his run.
Here's the flop with Darcourt at risk. No diamonds or jack or 10 for Darcourt.
Absolutely nothing good in that flop for Darcourt.
Turn card now. Another deuce. Makievsky's still good, as that does nothing for Guillaume Darcourt.
Darcourt needs a jack or a 10 or he is wamboozled.
The river card, an 8, and Darcourt comes up empty. Makievsky wins the last of Guillaume's chips.
Good game.
Darcourt busted after a steady run into day 7.
His pink hair got him noticed at first, but his fine play kept him in the limelight. Great run.
Darcourt won a WPT event and had a 3rd place finish in a World Series event last year. This 35th place betters those paydays. It's worth almost $243,000. On day 7 of the main event, you expect pressure.
A heart attack on ESPN like 12 times. Getting 12 heart attacks, jeez.
On day 7 of the main event, you expect emotion.
Yes! Yes!
On day 7 of the main event, you don't expect boyfriend and girlfriend to be side by side at the feature table.
Playing with David is interesting.
We're both short right now.
You never really want to get into it with a friend or let alone a boyfriend.
It's just basically a free roll from here on out, so we're just going to go play to win it.
32 players remain at the main event, and 2 of them date each other. How far can Moutinho and Sands go? Day 7 of the main event continues right now. Welcome to Day 7 coverage of the World Series of Poker main event presented by Jack Link's Beef Jerky. It's been a grind, but for the fortunate few who are left, the $8.7 million top prize is closer than ever. Alexander Mozhnikov has reeled in a lot of chips.
I don't know what this guy is using for bait, but he's catching a lot of hands.
Ben Lamb, always steady, always stacked.
I ran into Ben the other day at Jamba Juice, and even there he had a lot of chips.
Matt Giannetti rode a rush to the chip lead.
You know, if he wins the main event, he'll be able to buy the Longhorn Network.
Local pro John Esposito is short on chips, not on personality.
I'm sorry, wasn't the seniors event like a month ago? Who let this guy in?
So there's Giannetti on top with New Orleans resident Ryan Lenaghan in second. 6 players over 10 million, 6.4 million the chip average.
We're down to 32 players, only 4 of them over the age of 40.
Little Rock's Sam Barnhart, one of the many former chip leaders still remaining. He's got a below average stack and currently sits in 17th place. Blinds at 60 and 120,000 with a 15,000 chip ante. Ben Lamb with pocket jacks. Now here's a guy I trust with pocket jacks, a raise to 260,000. Kenny Shee, a Cal graduate several years ago. Queen 4 on the button into the muck. In the small blind, Eoghan O'Dea with pocket kings.
He cashed in 3 World Series events leading into the main event. Poker's a very streaky game. O'Dea, like Ben Lamb, in a zone these days.
Owen's family back in Ireland following his progress online. They couldn't do that when his dad started playing in the main event a generation ago. A re-raise from O'Dea to 720. Back to Lamb now. Lamb with a 4-bet to $1.5 million.
Ben Lamb feels good with pocket jacks in position. He shouldn't.
O'Dea with the kings. Lamb gives nothing away. O'Dea says all in.
I call.
And a quick call from Lamb, and he will bemoan that.
Yeah, the quick call from Ben, and he quickly regrets it.
Ben will need to bring out the whip to come home a winner against O'Dea's Kings.
The 26-year-old Irishman has the 26-year-old American in bad shape.
Guess a jack would be pretty sweet right now.
A rare misread by Ben Lamb. Here is the flop. 5-4-5. O'Dea likes that. No draws for Lamb.
O'Dea about to double through to a top 5 chip stack.
Turn card now. 10 of hearts. O'Dea one blank away from 12.5 million chips.
Lamb has to have a jack to knock out O'Dea.
The river card is paint but a queen. O'Dea wins it. Lamb stack cut almost in half.
So exciting.
Eoghan O'Dea now feels like Ben Lamb usually does, flush in chips. You mentioned that half of Ben Lamb's stack is gone, but he had enough chips that he's still in the top half of this field.
Lamb goes from upper crust to slightly above average. O'Dea fourth best in the room.
Nice answer.
Thanks.
Each year, recurring storylines emerge. The amateur chip leader, the pro making a deep run. But this year, Norman, a couple of unique relationships stand out among the remaining 32 players. Irishman Eoghan O'Dea and his father's main event success, and the boyfriend-girlfriend dynamic of David Doc Sands and Erika Moutinho.
It's hard not to root for Eoghan O'Dea. In 1983 and 1991, his dad made the main event final table, and if Eoghan can do it now, they'll be the first father and son to share that distinction. It's also hard not to root for Sands and Moutinho. Can you imagine the sensation of boyfriend-girlfriend making the November 9? But hey, I know a thing or two about relationships, and frankly, the best thing that can happen to these young lovers is to be knocked out on the same hand. It would be like Sophie's Choice or The Notebook, only on a poker table.
Well, I'm sure they love a Hollywood ending, but would prefer something along the lines of Rocky. Matt Giannetti, the chip leader, barely over Ryan Lenaghan. Both are seated at the feature table with Erika and Doc. Right now, they have very similar chip counts.
Should be some kind of rule like at the West Online that you can't sit at the same table before you reach the final table.
I think there is, right?
I don't
if
know.
we were playing from the same IP address. Actually, if we could play online poker, then it could be a problem if we were playing from the same IP address. Real big hypothetical, it sounds like.
You can't play at the same final table?
No, you can't play at the same. I think they don't put you at the same table until you're at the final table. If you're from the
No,
same
I don't think
IP.
they do that though.
They don't do that?
No.
John Hewitt with pocket aces.
We've never
Yeah,
been at
'cause
the
we've
same
been
table.
at the same table
Oh, yeah?
before.
Oh, yeah, true. Yeah.
Remember I knocked you out?
Oh, yeah.
That's why I remember.
She did knock me out of an online tournament. Remember?
That's how I remember.
I guess I blocked that out. I was like,
Raised to 255.
All forgot to happen.
What gets lost a bit in the great boyfriend-girlfriend story is just how good of a player David Sands is. Prolific online success, 14 World Series cashes.
Moutinho folds her button over to the big blind. Ryan Lenaghan with ace 10 of clubs.
I do remember that. I was only at second.
Faced with a raise already from Hewitt, he makes the call. So Lenaghan gets to see a flop for a bit of a discount from the big blind. And the flop is 7-5 king. Hewitt's ace is still best. Lenaghan missed and he checks. Hewitt comes out with a bet of 375. And Lenaghan gives up the hand. Hewitt's aces work there.
Hewitt happy not to have to battle any further for the pot. Heck, you hope everyone folds the flop against you at this point.
Would you mind putting out the big chip?
Esposito, the short stack here.
Sorry. Not many here.
Still some.
Keyword.
The thing about big pots is you don't want to lose them. Some players can tend to just whistle their way quietly for as long as possible.
The blinds and antes so big, the pots get huge, the chip swings are enormous, the players shifting positions on the leaderboard quite rapidly. Bonding under the gun, a native of Denmark, but he's lived in the States for several years.
31 years old. Only 5 of the remaining 32 players are older than him. He's on main event Social Security.
With 7-5 off, he's on thin ice, a raise to 255,000.
Well, we saw a lot more of this earlier in the tournament, raising under the gun with a weak hand. It's a popular growing strategy. People assume you have a strong hand with an early position raise.
Lars, glad you asked to look at my chips. You're going to get a real good look at it right now.
Esposito with pocket jacks, re-raises all in to almost $1.7 million.
14 big blinds left for Espo.
Folded 2 David Sands, pocket 4s into the muck. To the small blind, Ryan Lenaghan with aces.
How much is it?
Being 7, maybe, being 8. Soon to be about 2, 4.
Soon to be in Ryan Lenaghan's stack.
Let's put the cigar in the mouth for this one.
Hope he doesn't count on that being a victory cigar. Just a call from Lenaghan, maybe trying to get someone else in the pot. Big blind Giannetti folds. Now back to Bonding.
Bonding's only play here is to ask for Espo's cigar.
Bonding was 7-5 off, lays down. Lenaghan with the aces.
Really?
Trying to knock out Esposito.
I finally found 2 jacks, 2 aces by me.
The Espo gallery feeling lucky.
Yeah, a large group of supporters may be watching their last hand here in the Amazon room. Esposito looking for help.
Nice hand, buddy.
Lenaghan trying to get us one closer to the November 9.
Flip again, damn.
The flop, 7 King 7, no help to Espo.
That's some pain.
Very dry flop for John Esposito.
It would not have been for Bonding, who folded a 7. A deuce on the turn. Esposito 1 card from the exit.
The bracelet winner and local favorite needs a jack.
The river card is a 6 of diamonds. That will close out the 2011 main event for John Esposito.
John Esposito's 7th main event cash, and that's how you go out. A wave, a smile, and a cigar.
He has finished higher in smaller fields, but never a better payday at the World Series of Poker for Esposito. And Ryan Lenaghan, the chip leader, once again.
Let's give it up one more time for Mr. John Esposito.
31 players left as we inch closer to the November 9. Welcome back inside the Amazon room. 4 tables remaining, including our secondary featured table. Eoghan O'Dea is the top stack there with $12.5 million. Lamb knocked down to under $7 million.
Nobody short stacked at the table, though Ben Lamb might feel short stacked because he's usually well above the chip average.
O'Dea's latest big addition to his stack came courtesy of Ben Lamb a short time ago. Action folded to Kenny Shee. Shee with pocket queens.
He has a political science degree from Cal Berkeley. Born in Taiwan, raised in Southern California, and he has moved back to Taiwan.
He sits with almost 4.8 million chips right now, well below the chip average. A raise to 260,000. O'Dea will sit this one out. J.P. Kelly on the Jack Link's Beef Jerky hole cam with King 9 off.
Like Irishman Eoghan O'Dea, who's sitting next to him, Kelly got into the game by watching late night poker on British television.
He's the first Brit to win a World Series of Poker Europe bracelet.
If I were broadcasting late night poker, I would have told him to stay away from King 9 off.
No kidding. Kelly will not take the advice. A re-raise to 680,000. Guess he wants to play a pot with Shee. Makievsky folds. Bryan Devonshire puts his cards in the muck. Now back to Shee.
Kelly sensing weakness in Shee, but his weakness radar is on the fritz.
Call. Shee just makes the call for 420,000 more.
She's going to play pocket queens the way I would, badly. What if an ace or a king peels off on the flop? What do you do then, Kenny Shee?
All right, heads up to the flop. And how about that? Quad queens for Kenny Shee, and you know how to play queens. She checks.
She was almost motionless. It's as if she thought if he moved a muscle, the flop would be invalidated.
Kelly, dead in the water, bets 525,000.
And I think Shee is going to try to call here without breathing or shifting any part of his body.
Shee trying not to give anything away, as you said, just with a call.
J.P. Kelly is behind, Lon.
You think? Turn card, 4 of hearts. Can Kenny Shee get any more out of Kelly? Another check from Kenny Shee.
She blinked 3 times, then checked. I would have blinked only twice. And look, no give up in J.P. Kelly.
Wow, he bet a third of the pot on the flop, and here's a third once again, 900,000.
There is drawing deadline, and there's drawing 60 feet under. I've got to credit Shee. He looks worried.
He always looks scared to death, though. Call. He announces call.
By the way, Kelly's outs are listed on the top left of your screen.
The river card, tray of hearts. She checks again.
That was a 2-blink check. He's getting better.
Kelly with a big stack of purple. Put She all in.
I call. You got it.
Yeah, call.
2 million, right?
Kelly will have to turn up his hand. It was an all-in call situation. And Kenny She doubles up to $9.8 million.
Bad misread by Kelly cost him half his stack. That's a certified blow-up.
No, for sure.
Less than 2.7.
Kenny She moves into 7th place on the overall leaderboard.
Yeah! You see that flop? Oh my God. Oh!
He better send a thank you card to JP Kelly, who's down to $4.5 million.
Oh my God.
Kenny She on the prowl now here in the Amazon room.
Knew you barreled
He
me
is
there.
pumped up.
Knew you would barrel me there.
She's got hat issues.
How did he double up through Kelly? Phil Galfon tells us in Pro Analysis.
In this hand, JP Kelly 3-bets with King 9 offsuit and gets called by She with pocket queens. She flops quads and slow plays his hand the whole way. Check calls flop, check calls turn, check calls river, and gets JP to bluff off half of his stack and double up. There are 2 keys here. I think first of all, when you flop a very strong hand against an aggressive opponent, it pays off huge to slow play. Second, and more importantly, when you flop so huge that there are almost no hands your opponent can have, he's not going to pay off a raise at any point. You're much better off slow playing when he can't have anything himself. Great play by She.
I think a great play by She would be to lose the cap so he doesn't have to worry about taking it on and off.
What a boost to Kenny She's chances. He's working towards a chip count of 10 million right now. All right, 31 players left. The average stack, which Kenny She has surpassed, just over 6.6 million. Back to our feature table. Erika Moutinho was dealt pocket jacks with only about $1.8 million. This may be a moment of truth. Martin Staszko, the original raiser with pocket 7s.
All in.
And Moutinho all in.
I think Doc Sands would have to wake up with quad aces to call here.
Yeah, no way. He is calling. It is folded around the table. Lars Bonding, 6'5", won't play. So back to the original raiser, Staszko.
This would be for 23% of Staszko's stack.
Okay, he'll double up you.
And he does make the call. Erika Moutinho at risk, but in very good shape here.
Atta baby, all right.
I'm sorry, who's all in? Moutinho battling a cold and a cough the last couple of days, but pocket jacks here just might cure it.
Good luck, babe. I'm proud of you either way.
Thank you.
Done great.
By the way, she has not told him once that she's proud of him.
Oh, you know how to stir the pot. All right, here's the flop. Ace, deuce, 8. Well, the jacks hold up so far.
Moutinho, the last woman left in the main event, in great shape here to double up.
Turn card. Another ace brings Moutinho closer to a double up.
Staszko looking for a 7 to bust Erika Moutinho.
The river card. The queen of hearts, and Erika Moutinho makes the jacks work for the double up.
People keep trying to break them up. You cannot mess with America's couple.
With that double up, Erika Moutinho surpasses Doc Sands. She's up to 3.8 million.
As I was just telling him, it's tough to play against the tag team. As soon as it's won, you saw that.
Hardest I've ever sweated an all-in my life right there, seriously.
Staszko down to 5 million. He tried to break up the Moutinho-Sands tandem, but Erika did not cooperate. Welcome back to Day 7 of the World Series of Poker, presented by Jack Link's Beef Jerky. Let's check in with Kara Scott.
The pressure is certainly building as we are rapidly losing players. We've been seeing a lot of pocket pairs running into each other, and that and position is what knocked out Steve Brecker. He's the 2009 WPT Bay 101 champion. He had pocket 4s on the button. He made a raise. He ended up actually shoving over a re-raise from the small blind when he ran into queens, and he did not improve. At the moment, Quan Nguyen is our chip leader. He has over 17 million in chips.
So the 29-year-old Quan Nguyen taking a turn at the top of the leaderboard. It's a carousel up there. At the feature table, one of the short stacks, Erika Moutinho, has had a fun ride of her own here at the main event.
Oh my God.
The doctor is in. We figured this might happen.
Our last one standing is Erika Moutinho from Easton, Connecticut. Go, girl.
Yes, are you kidding? That's awesome. Oh my God.
This wild ride of the main event, really unbelievable. I didn't know if I was going to play. I wasn't sure if I was qualified to play in the beginning. So to make it this far is really just amazing. And to be sharing the experience with David is even better.
This is Erika's first main event, and incidentally, it is also the first time she has sat at a poker table with someone from Trinec.
Moutinho with pocket nines after Staszko from Trinec in the Czech Republic raised with queen nine. Moutinho calls. King tray off for Doc Sands. He folds.
Doc Sands can't cure being card dead.
Seven-handed at this table now, and these two will see a flop once again.
Moutinho versus Staszko again. I smell reality show.
The flop is 8 king deuce. Moutinho's nines, a heavier favorite now as Staszko misses. Moutinho checks.
Staszko, 35, used to be a manager at an automotive company before turning to poker.
Staszko with 260,000.
It's a pretty good flop for pocket nines.
And Moutinho with the best hand, with the call. Turn card down. 5 of diamonds. Moutinho adds a flush draw. And she checks again.
Erika might put Martine on a flush. Martine might put Erika on a flush. Staszko with queen high and no draws.
Doc Sands trying to get a read on Staszko also. Martine bets 550,000.
Staszko has played pretty snug poker to get here, not playing too snug in this spot.
She seems concerned right now. Staszko's bet has her worried, and she lays down the best hand.
Staszko steals the pot from Erika. If Doc Sands knew that, he would beat him up.
Moutinho left with 26 big blinds. Staszko chipping up here on day 7. So far, he's on the right path towards reaching a lofty goal.
Yes, it is my dream. When I go to Vegas, it was my dream to win bracelet, but very difficult, a lot of players. But it's some chance now, and I hope I will go to final table.
I haven't done the research, but I believe Martine Staszko would become the first player ever from Trinec to make the main event final table. I also believe Trinec would be renamed Staszko if he wins it all.
Lars Bonding has the action. Ace-8 offsuit, a raise to 250,000 to Martine Staszko. Time for the Jack Link's Beef Jerky wild card hand, the Trinec edition.
I'm 10 of 24, and as you know, Lon, I'm trying to become the first person to bat over 400 in the wild card hand since Ted Williams in 1941.
Staszko makes the call.
From the button, I'll put Staszko on A, Jack 10 suited.
The 2 blinds fold, and so it will be Bonding with Ace-8 against Staszko. The wild card hand, here is the flop. Ace-4, King, all clubs, top pair for Bonding. He checks.
Martine either has flopped a flush draw, straight draw, a pair of kings, or a set of 4s.
And he's going to bet whatever he has, 330,000.
I'm not going to back off, Lon. I believe it could be any of those hands listed. Lars in a tough spot here, a weak ace out of position, and he doesn't have a club.
He does have chips to make the call.
Smells like A, B, C, or D for Martine.
Turn card is another ace. Trip aces for Lars Bonding.
And Bonding's got to feel better about his hand now. Chances are Staszko doesn't have an ace.
But those clubs are out there, and he checks again.
Well, if Martine is betting here, it's either the flush or 4s full. No one's putting a gun to my head, so I don't have to choose.
A or D now?
Yes.
Staszko bets 580,000.
Lars knows trip aces might be good, and even if he's up against, say, a flush, he's got outs.
Bonding comes along with his trips. All right, the river card. 9 of hearts.
Now it gets stickier for Lars. He should have stuck to backgammon. He was a great backgammon player.
World-ranked backgammon player. And he checks his trips.
A or D.
Staszko putting together more chips now. He has bet the entire way.
And if this happens to be a bluff by Martine, it's the slowest bluff in history. But I think Staszko is betting a monster. Big flush or 4s full.
And Staszko pushes out over 1.1 million chips.
40% of the pot. I like that bet. Lars has got to call.
I call.
He does call. Staszko shows pocket fours for a winning full house on the Jack Links beef jerky wildcard hand.
Staszko ahead start to finish, and I know it's late in the season, but I feel a 56-hand hitting streak coming on for me.
Well, your wildcard average just went up half a notch, Mr. Chad.
Now the gallery excited for Martine. Vegas has a large Trinit community.
Bonding with trip aces drops below 7 million. Staszko in 10th place now. We go from Trinit to Belize. Bob Bunara just re-raised all in.
And I'm walking to the rail.
Bunara with ace jack.
Whatever they decide to do, just let me know. You know that, right?
Philippe Gruesome with deuces needs 10,000 to call.
I don't want to look. I don't want to see. Just let me know what happens.
Well, the first thing we knew was going to happen was Gruesome getting 194 to 1 on a call was going to play. Bunara had to push with less than 6 big blinds left. You should never let yourself get down that low.
Norman, we got a 2 million chip pot, a player at risk, and nobody at their stations. All right, Bunara and a coin flip for his tournament life against Gruesome. Here's the flop. 10 king, king, still a coin flip. Bunara with a Broadway draw and counterfeit outs.
One man still looks away. One man comes back.
Turn card. 6 of hearts. Gruesome still with the best hand.
Queen, ace, jack, 10, or 6, or Bunara is gone.
The river card now is another 6, and Bunara gets there. His king's up with the ace kicker as Gruesome's deuces will not play.
I'm back.
That's a tough short stack to stamp out.
A blow to Gruesome's chances as the only player in the room with a shorter stack right now is Bob Bunara. Bunara has a lot of doubling up to do, but right now life is good for him.
Yes!
And the main event hopes for Belize are still flickering. For Belize's Bob Bunara, this main event has had its share of highlights.
And I'm walking to the rail. I don't want to see. Just let me know what happens. Good luck, guys. Oh, I won! I won! Flop the straight. 4, 5, 6. Whoa! Whoa! I'm back! Yes!
He's played in the World Series the last 5 years just for the fun of it, and even with a short stack, as he's had much of this main event, he's had a lot of fun.
All right, we go over to the other outer table. Pius Hines just committed his final chips to pocket queens, hoping to double through Australian Andy Henriksen with ace-king suited, 8.1 million in the middle, and Hines' tournament life in the balance.
Henriksen 23, Hines 22.
The flop, 7 tray, 9, 1 spade. Hines still good.
Hines is going to have 8 million chips or no chips.
Turn card. The 8 of spades, Hines still good. Henriksen picks up a spade flush draw.
Henriksen looking for an ace, king, or any spade for the knockout.
And the river card. The 10 of hearts won't do it for Henriksen. Pius Hines scores the double up and will keep his seat.
It's been a pretty good year for hoodies.
Henriksen took a beating there, knocked down to just shy of 2.4 million. And Pius Hines not only avoids becoming our 30th place finisher, he is now our 10th place competitor. By the way, 3 more eliminations before the payouts go from almost 243,000 to over 302,000. Action on Sam Barnhart at the secondary feature table with ace-10 of spades.
Barnhart, the oldest player left at 51.
He's taking a year off from work to test his poker skills, find out if he can make it his livelihood. He raises to 265. Anton Makievsky with king-6 of spades.
Makievsky, the youngest player left at 21, and he could become the youngest main event champion ever, eclipsing Joe Cata.
He hates to fold, but he does lay his hand down.
So actually we're down to 1 player over 50, Sam Barnhart, and only 1 other player over 40, 49-year-old Bob Bunara. They're both amateurs.
Folded to the button, Ben Lamb. He already knows he can make a living from poker. Ace-king off.
A D for you? I think they sit around 4.5, maybe 5. You want to count?
No.
Okay. I think it's close to that. Something like that.
Barnhart's right, just over 4.5 million in his stack. Ben Lamb makes the call.
Just calling on the button with ace-king.
Kenny Shee in the small blind. A lot of new chips there.
She's got to learn to squeeze just a little faster. We teach that at the Norman Chad School of Poker. Low tuition. Our admissions department is open around the clock.
The blinds both fold. Heads up, Lamb and Barnhart. The flop 9 Queen King. Top pair for Lamb, a Broadway draw for Barnhart. Sam. Come on, Sam, 400,000.
Lamb with top pair, top kicker, but that board could be in Barnhart's wheelhouse.
And Lamb just with the call. A jack on the turn. That's very interesting. Barnhart hits his ace-high straight. Lamb with flush and straight draws.
Boy, if I'm in the hand line, my head explodes staring at that board. I wouldn't know what to do. Flush got there, straight got there. Someone could have a set.
Barnhart checked it. Lamb checks as well.
They don't know what to do.
No, they don't. The river card is another heart, and Lamb gets there with the ace-high flush. Barnhart with a straight. He bets 400,000.
Small bet.
1.5 on top.
There you go.
It's good to be Ben Lamb.
Barnhart squirming. And folds.
Barnhart frustrated, but he lays it down without further damage.
We saw Ben Lamb lose nearly half his stack a short time ago, but he is now in 12th place out of 30 players. The turn looked great for Barnhart, but the river only brought him disaster. The unflappable Ben Lamb always seems to find a way to rebound. Welcome back to The Real. On McCarran along with Norman Chad and Kara Scott at the secondary table where Ben Lamb had 13 million, then he got halved. Now he's back to 9 million. Lamb looks down at King 10 of clubs. And he's going to raise it to 260,000.
When Kenny Shee squeezes his cards, he reminds me of a catcher crouching down waiting for the next pitch.
8-6 of diamonds. He folds. O'Dea folds, as does Kelly. Barnhart now on the Jack Link's Beef Jerky hole cam. Queen Jack of spades.
Sam says age is a big factor in the main event, and he's definitely been feeling all of his 51 years down the stretch.
From the big blind, he makes the call.
The Lamb about half Barnhart's age.
I got about 3-something.
Here's the flop. Queen 7-8, 2 spades. Very good flop for Sam. Top pair with a flush draw. He checks. Now to the original raiser, Ben Lamb.
Barnhart all over that flop. Lamb all over the continuation bet.
Yep, 320,000.
Sam's got an itch.
I think that's a tell that he's got an itch.
620.
Barnhart with a check raise, a minimum raise to 640,000. Lamb with nothing lays down his hand.
Sam's an old man here, but poker's such an easy game when Ben Lamb folds.
Such a great flop for Sam Barnhart. He might have gotten more chips out of Ben Lamb, but he's happy to be stacking any chips at this point. Sam Barnhart up to 4.2 million. Ben tested Sam and then made the good laydown. Back to the party in Belize. Bunara all in again with aces this time.
I hit aces, man. I don't like them.
Gianni Demers has queens, trying to get the knockout.
Demers, a 23-year-old from New Jersey who owns one T-shirt. Seems like Bunara has been raising all in with less than 20 big blinds for days on end.
The flop, King Deuce 4. Demers gets no help.
Aces, I hate them. I prefer 7 deuce off. I honestly do. Ask them. I honestly do.
Turn card, a tray.
Honestly, do I prefer 7 deuce off, 7 deuce off, 7 deuce off, 7 deuce off. I don't want to see
River card, the 9 of spades. Bunara with another double up.
Well, 7 deuce off would have been a one-way ticket back to Belize. Sometimes pocket aces are good to have.
Another double up for Bunara, and this time Bob will count almost 3.4 million chips in his stack. So 30 players remain in the main event. A lot of money still up for grabs as we get back to our feature table. Action has been folded over to John Hewitt, ace-jack of hearts for the 23-year-old.
He attended the University of Costa Rica, which I believe is in Costa Rica.
He had me hanging there. Staszko folds his button to the small blind. Erika Moutinho, 6 deuce off. She'll fold directly to her left. In the big blind, her boyfriend, David Doc Sands, with Jack 10 off.
He went to Hamilton College in New York, graduated summa cum laude, which frankly is just showing off. I'm sure if he had just matriculated with a 2.8 GPA like I did, Erika still would have gone out with him.
Erika wondering what her boyfriend's thinking about here.
All in.
Doc Sands moves all in with Jack 10 for over $2.2 million.
Sands pushes with 18 big blinds left.
Back,
Hewitt would need 45% of his stack to call.
Doc Sands, summa cum laude.
I call.
And Hewitt makes the call. Doc Sands in trouble.
Ace Jack. So all we need is 10 of clubs.
Jack 10? You idiot!
All right, so John Hewitt trying to knock off half of the happy couple. Here's the flop. Queen, queen, ace. Ace is up for Hewitt. Sands with a Broadway draw.
Got more outs than we started with. I guess your friends want me to have outs.
Sands originally looking for a 10. Hewitt now has to dodge a king.
Turn card.
Running queens.
7 of diamonds, and now we're one card from losing Erika Moutinho's poker teacher and boyfriend.
Hewitt poised for the knockout. Doc Sands has to have a king, or Erika Moutinho will carry on alone.
The river card. Another queen. Hewitt rivers, queens full. Doc Sands out of the main event in 30th place. A lot of fine poker players say a lot of good things about Doc Sands. He wins almost $243,000.
It will not be a November 9 honeymoon for the couple, but it was fun.
All right, babe. Carry the torch. I love you.
Good job. You've been so proud. Finish the job. Play aggressive.
Jack 10, you idiot.
John Hewitt, certainly no sentimentalist as he splits up the likable duo. Doc Sands will take his leave, and Erika Moutinho will now have to navigate the rest of the main event waters alone. Her boyfriend, David Sands, is now with Kara Scott.
David, coming so close to the final table yourself, it's a cruel fact that your exit takes Erika one step closer. Talk me through your emotions here.
I mean, that's definitely ironic, but, you know, I was just playing my own game to win, and she was playing hers, and, I mean, it's unfortunate, but, you know, I'll be here rooting her on the whole way, and I'd like nothing more than to see her make the final table, so hopefully one of us can do it.
Did you give her some words of encouragement on the way out? I saw you guys have a little hug.
Yeah, we just had a nice moment and just kind of, I don't know, for me, just kind of recap the whole experience briefly, and I just told her to play aggressive and play to win, and that I was proud of her.
Thanks so much.
No problem, thank you. All in.
Whoa.
Good game, buddy. It was fun. Thank you.
Good job. You've been so proud. Finish the job.
The $2,500 buy-in mixed high-low championship pitted World Series veteran Michael the Grinder Mizrachi against newcomer Owais Ahmed in Omaha 8 and Stud 8. Ahmed, the Pakistani-born amateur from California, finished on top to earn his first gold bracelet and over $320,000.
I just played my heart out. I played my A game. In the end, it all worked out for me.
You may remember Owais Ahmed from the Poker Players Championship. He finished 4th in that event. Ahmed representing Pakistan. And here in the main event, the field is internationally diverse. 12 countries represented with 29 players still in the field.
Nearly half of bracelets in 2011 won by foreign-born players, so no surprise that half the remaining field is foreign-born.
Sam Holden, one of 2 Brits left, is in severe trouble all in, holding 9-8 of diamonds against Canadian Quao, wins ace-9 of spades.
Is this where I use my one side?
Holding on the button against the big blind.
Holding all in for his last $1.5 million. The flop 6-4-10. Quao wins, still leads. He picked up a flush draw. Holden now with a gut shot.
Holden in a similar position we just saw Doc Sands in, but he gets a better flop, still well behind.
Jack of diamonds.
Turn card is the 7, and Holden scores a straight to the 10, but not out of danger.
Well, we'd have a chop pot if a non-spade 8 comes. Otherwise, Wynn can only bust Holden with a river spade.
The river card is the 6 of clubs, and Sam Holden will score his double up. So the man from Canterbury, England, will keep his seat.
One-time work.
Pursuant to the new Norman Chad rules of poker, that one time has been recorded, and Sam Holden will not be allowed to use it again.
Quao Wynn with a small hit to his stack. He still has over $15 million. Holden holding on. He now has $3.2 million. And you see Bob Bunara right next to Holden. It seems that the short stacks are playing pretty tough at that table. All right, back to the secondary feature table. Action has been folded to the button. Anton Makievsky, the Ukrainian with Jack 4 offsuit, and a raise to 240,000.
And Bolden to try to pick up the blinds and antes.
Bryan Devonshire in the small blind with Queen 10 of spades.
Devo engaged to be married in 2012, but I'm going to have a little chat with him first.
He makes the call. Scott Schwalek in the big blind, 10-6.
Engagements are made to be broken.
Schwalek folds. So heads up, Makievsky and Devonshire. Google Devo images and you'll get the joke. The flop, Trey 8-6, nothing much for either. Queen high is best for Devo.
It's often a battle of wills. You've got to want it.
Devonshire checks to Makievsky.
Makievsky wants it with Jack high.
He bets 350,000.
Well, Devo has not insta-folded, or maybe he's just having second thoughts about that engagement. Look at this.
Wow, Bryan Devonshire with some purples worth 100,000 each. And there's a check raise to a cool 1 million.
Very nice read from Devonshire. That's American know-how, son. I'm sorry, what's Makievsky doing?
Wow.
What's he doing?
The Ukrainian now comes back over the top, re-raise it to 2.4, and Devo folds.
Wow, that's scary. That's Ukrainian know-how, son.
So Devonshire gives up some chips. He's just about even here on day 7. Makievsky with little fear, great confidence, and terrific reads. Anton Makievsky continuing a new tradition here at the 2011 World Series. Ukrainian success. Kachalov, Kovalchuk, and Sinis all won bracelets, and Yevgeny Temeshenko picked up a second-place finish.
Makievsky good friends with Alexei Kovalchuk, and that is Kovalchuk's aquamarine jacket he's been wearing throughout the main event as a lucky charm.
Keeping it here at the secondary feature table, pocket jacks for Sam Barnhart, first to act.
Barnhart wears his own clothes. I believe this is usually his Tuesday t-shirt.
And with the 2 jacks, he wants to raise it up to 265,000.
Someone needs to buy Devo an adult shirt. You can't walk around in a San Francisco Giants jersey if you're married.
Not married just yet. Action on Scott Schwalek. Schwalek will fold. Then Lamb with King Queen.
Lamb just looks as if he's attached to the poker table. He just seems like he belongs there.
He instills fear in most of his opponents, and he looked like he was going to play the hand, but ended up folding.
Here's the Kenny Shee squeeze.
Nope, he will not stick around. O'Dea folds his small blind. J.P. Kelly in the big blind with ace-king.
When he won a pot limit hold'em bracelet here in 2009, Phil Collins was 10th, David Sands 11th in that event, and of course Kelly also won a no-limit bracelet that year in Europe.
J.P. Kelly with chips, a re-raise to 720,000.
I'm all in.
And Sam Barnhart's all in for over 3.3 million.
Cool.
Kelly has a shot to knock out Barnhart there with a call, but he doesn't look confident about it.
So just cool.
Kelly lamenting his re-raise.
All low cards.
Sam Barnhart at risk. Here's the flop, and that's low enough.
J.P. Kelly still might be thinking about his re-raise. Sam Barnhart thinking about low cards.
The turn card now. 7 of spades, the straight draw on board doesn't worry Sam.
Indeed, if it comes, Sam would have a higher jack-high straight. Kelly can only knock out Barnhart with a river, ace, or king.
The river card is a 9. Barnhart's jack-high straight will bring him a double up to nearly 7 million.
Little Rock forever.
Sam Barnhart straight brings him some much-needed chips, approaching 7 million. And of course, he keeps his chair here in the big one.
I'm all in. Cool.
Back inside the Amazon room, the leaderboard ever-changing. Matt Giannetti has reclaimed the chip lead as Qual Win has fallen back. Action on Giannetti at the feature table. King Jack offsuit. Giannetti a raise to 260,000.
We have seen Giannetti, Wynn, Hines, Lenaghan, Barnhart, Collins, Lamb all atop the leaderboard. It's hard to hold on to it.
Action folded to Erika Moutinho, Queen 10 of clubs, and she says all in for almost 1.8 million.
Similar spot, similar hand. We saw Doc Sands in earlier. 15 big blinds left.
I'm all in.
Henriksen re-raises all in for over $6 million with ace-queen. Giannetti folds, and so Moutinho at risk.
And Erika, like her boyfriend before her, is dominated for her main event life. John Hewitt took out the first half of the perfect couple. Now Henriksen trying to take out the better half.
Moutinho trying to hang on. Here is the flop. Queen 5-4, no clubs in there. Her path is very narrow now.
Yeah, no club, no 10, no straight draw. Little hope for Moutinho. Henriksen trying to finish off the last woman here in the main event.
Lauren Kling on the left, Christina Lindley here supporting Doc Sands' girlfriend. Erika Moutinho trying to survive. The turn card, 7 of diamonds, no help to Moutinho. The last woman standing in the main event has one last chance.
And Erika Moutinho's improbable main event journey now will end unless she can hit a 10 on the river.
The river card, the jack of clubs, and that will do it. Erika Moutinho goes out in 29th, just one place after Doc Sands was eliminated in 30th.
Well, I thought it would be best for the relationship if they went out on the same hand. Instead, it's back-to-back eliminations for them, pretty close, and bragging rights for Erika.
Nice hand.
A nice round of applause for Erika Moutinho as she heads out to join David Sands on the rail. And we see at one of the outer tables, Philippe Grusom has just been knocked out. Grusom goes out in 28th. He earns over $242,000. The rest of the field now gets a pay raise to over $300,000. Matt Giannetti in the lead. After the redraw, we'll be down to 3 tables with 27 players. Let's go down to Kara Scott right now, who's with Erika Moutinho.
Describe to us what it's like to come this far in your first 10K event.
Yeah, it's pretty difficult. You know, there's a lot of good players still left, and I don't have as much experience as everyone else probably, but I think I did pretty good for my first 10K.
Do you take any solace in being the last woman standing here? Does that mean anything to you?
I mean, it's pretty cool that I'm last woman standing, and hopefully it'll show that, you know, other women can play, and they won't be afraid, you know, to play with the guys.
Great, well, thank you so much for talking to us.
George Bernard Shaw famously said youth is wasted on the young. Recent results at the World Series of Poker main event suggest Shaw never played poker. Yeah!
I feel my heart right now. Younger players have fresh perspective on the game, and I think they have a big advantage.
The internet kids, most of them are okay.
This year, 21 of the remaining 27 players are in their 20s.
I'm 22. It's an advantage fatigue-wise.
The difficulty in age is endurance. Every day, several hours a day of playing.
And as day 7 concludes, it's clear that youth is being served.
Yes! The young players are a force to be reckoned with, and hopefully I'm one of them.
The race to the final 9 is reaching its climax, and fresh legs are leading the way. The famous Las Vegas sign welcomes all, but the November 9 only seats 9. I'm Lon McCarran with Norman Chad and Kara Scott at the World Series of Poker main event presented by Jack Link's Beef Jerky. Ben Lamb continues to play well.
He seems destined. We could have saved a lot of time by just putting Lamb at the final table on day 1.
Ryan Lenaghan is enjoying his first main event.
I didn't know Norval's Shaggy Rogers played poker Scooby-Doo.
Bryan Devonshire's smiling, but a short stack.
The great thing about Devo, with just 1 chip, he'd still be smiling.
Matt Giannetti's patience is paying off.
Quiet, steady, reserved, and bursting in chips.
Giannetti on top of the day 7 leaderboard. Irishman Eoghan O'Dea has over $13 million, just 3 tables in play.
It's a sea of 20-somethings with Anton Makieski, the youngest at 21. He could become the youngest ever to win the main event.
At 26, Giannetti is skewing old for this field. 22-year-old German pro Pius Heinz with King 10 of clubs. And he's going to raise it to $380,000 to Phil Collins. He has been a tournament leader in this main event.
He got a perfect math score on his SAT. That's just, you know, obnoxious.
Poker pro living in Vegas makes the call. John Hewitt born in Chicago, lives in Costa Rica. And he folds to Belizean Bob Bunara on the Jack Links Beef Jerky Hole Cam, 7 deuce off.
I thought he preferred 7 deuce to aces.
Yeah, he said that, but he did fold. Now Kyle Johnson with pocket trays.
He has a finance degree from the University of Alberta.
I'm all in.
And he's looking for some excuse to ship his paltry stack. He's all in.
11 big blinds left, pocket pair, time to push and pray.
Suited queen deuce for Barnhart into the muck to the small blind Giannetti. He folds, big blind folds. So back to Hines.
This would be for more than a quarter of Hines' stack with Collins still to act.
And Hines gets rid of his suited king.
This would be for 17% of Collins' stack, but he knows that already because he got a perfect math score on his SAT.
All right, I call.
Collins makes the call to put Johnson at risk. Johnson's pocket tray is the best hand right now.
Good luck, man.
2.
Collins actually the favorite, but he knows that.
All right, here's the flop. And there's a jack for Collins to take the lead.
That's not much of a sweat.
Hines folded king 10 of clubs.
Oh, club, yeah. I'll chip for the club. I'll club draw.
Yeah, Johnson can only pray for 2 more clubs to chop it. All right, turn card. Deuce of diamonds, the young Canadian down to his last chance.
Can I use my one time?
He can use his one time, but remember, I'm keeping track. Johnson needs a 3.
It's another jack. Collins with trip jacks knocks Kyle Johnson out in 27th place.
He's got money to buy pants now.
He set a high standard for himself with this, his first ever World Series cash.
Lost my last 2 races. Yeah, once I saw his hand, I figured I had to win. Lost 2 in a row, and I have the Jack 10 suited.
With just 26 players remaining, the November 9 looms large in everyone's mind. The average stack at the final table will be 23 million chips, and some of the leaders are already approaching that figure. For the experienced pros, Norman, this will be the time to push the action. For others, it will be hold tight and pray.
Lon, if I ever picked up a poker book and read it, I'm sure it would talk about aggression. From what I hear, sitting back and waiting is a one-way ticket to Poker Palookaville. So as I understand it, it's just a matter of who can out-aggress whom. I believe Ben Lamb and Phil Collins could out-aggress Genghis Khan. These fellas have no fear. They attack rather than retreat. They seem comfortable under pressure, and heck, they've probably read a lot of poker books.
If all goes as planned for Collins or Lamb, they may write their own poker book by year's end. He was once a dominant online player. He's doing pretty well here in the live game. At the featured table, Kenny Shee in seat 5, wearing the same cow cap he's worn all tournament long.
Seems a little bored.
In the 9 seat, the youngest player in the field, 21-year-old Anton Makievsky.
Seems a little young.
And former chip leader Kwa Win from Calgary, Alberta, now sits in 2nd place.
Seems a little something.
Lars Bonding from Denmark, now living in the U.S. with ace-king off.
31 years old. Only 2 players remain over the age of 35, amateur Sam Barnhart and Bob Bunara.
With the ace-king, Bonding makes a raise to $360,000.
By the way, George Bernard Shaw was a fool.
Trey deuce for Anton Makievsky into the muck. Jack deuce for Gianni Demers. Now over to Chris Moore with ace-queen.
28-year-old Chicago pro. The summer he graduated from the University of Wisconsin-Madison. He worked as an intern at ESPN Radio. There's no future in radio, so he's sticking with poker.
Well, Bonding's already raised with ace-king. Moore with ace-queen makes the call.
There's not a lot of future in poker if you keep calling with ace-queen.
And the big blind, Kenny Shee. Shee peaks at 2 red 10s.
He was a stockbroker at Morgan Stanley for 4 years. There's no future in that. So now he plays poker and wears a cow hat a little crooked.
He's a loyal Cal supporter. He graduated several years ago, but still flies the colors. And with pocket 10s, just makes the call. Something spook him away from raising there?
Those were pocket 10s, not deuces. He should have raised.
All right, 3 players will see this flop. Ace, 9, 6, top pair, top kicker for Lars Bonding. For Chris Moore, he got top pair, but he's got problems. And the 10s are no good now anyway for Kenny Shee. He checks.
Well, Shee saved chips by not raising because someone was going to call and hit an ace on him.
Bonding now with the best hand. He's not shy about betting, $470,000.
And as usual, ace-queen gets a part of the flop and is in trouble.
And it does make the call. Kenny Shee with his 10s, and now they're in the muck. So heads up, Bonding and Moore. Bonding with the best of it right now. Turn card is a queen, and Moore finds aces up on the turn.
Oh man, Moore hits gin.
Bonding checks this time.
Incidentally, when you get the perfect card in gin, do you say you hit gin?
I don't know, I've never gotten it. Chris Moore now with the best of it. What a dance he probably did inside when that queen fell on the turn.
Moore won the 2008 Wynn Classic worth nearly $700,000.
Here's a bet of 700,000 chips.
Bonding checks top pair, top kicker. Moore then bets small with top two. I never know what's going on, Lon. I should play gin.
Bonding makes the call. The river card now. With Bonding in severe trouble. 5 of diamonds, and Lars comes up short. He does check again.
That's a pretty safe board for ace-king, but Bonding remains leery.
Moore with aces up.
$2 million.
And he'll put Bonding to the test.
Bonding has played the hand cautiously out of position. Let's see if he can save $2 million now by folding. I would be calling here.
Lars Bonding trying to get a read on Moore.
I call.
He makes the call, and Chris Moore wins a $7.6 million chip pot with aces up.
Chris Moore now with a top 5 chip stack.
And so this Chicago poker player moving up in the standings. Bonding loses half of his chips with ace-king. For some insight on any tells from that last hand, let's check in with former FBI agent Joe Navarro.
As we start the video, look at Chris's mouth, and you'll notice his chewing. And one of the things we've learned is, with a lot of players, when they're strong, their chewing increases. This is a good clue for certain people. Now, with others, they do it when they're under stress. The second behavior I want you to look at is, and this is very significant, look at Lars. Look at that chin go way up. Neck stretching behaviors, whether it's done backwards or to the sides, what it means is, I'm struggling here. And you see it very dramatically in this shot. And it's just something that everybody at the table can read. And obviously, when you combine that with his hand behaviors that we see here, where he massages his hands and so forth, again, it just demonstrates that he's struggling and most likely he's weak.
To sum up, don't chew gum, don't stretch your neck, don't massage your hands, don't even breathe, because that is a tell that you want to live.
Moore up almost 2.5 million chips late here on day 7. To the only outer table remaining, Ryan Lenaghan checked a flop set of 5s. From the button, Andy Henriksen's pocket aces are cracking. He checked back. Turn card now. Another tray gives Lenaghan a boat.
Lenaghan slow played the set on the flop. He's definitely going to get action here on the turn.
$875,000 is the bet from Ryan Lenaghan.
The 23-year-old Australian trapped here by the 26-year-old from New Orleans.
Henriksen turning aces up, and he makes the call.
Lenaghan, a 19-1 favorite as we go to the river.
The river card. Queen of diamonds is no help to Henriksen.
Lenaghan running good. I guarantee you he didn't get a perfect score on his math SAT. He's got a general studies degree, for crying out loud, but he's got the perfect hand here.
Lenaghan trying to figure out the perfect bet. He puts together almost $1.5 million. Henriksen calls, and he will lose 40% of his stack with pocket aces.
Henriksen was trapped by Shaggy Rogers.
Ryan Lenaghan puts himself back on top of this main event field with 26 players remaining. Welcome back to the main event. 26-year-old Ryan Lenaghan gave up the chip lead briefly, but now he's back on top, having just cracked the 17 million chip mark. Here at the feature table, action has been folded to young Sam Holden, the 22-year-old, making a deep run in his first ever $10,000 buy-in. Ace Queen of Diamonds.
He graduated from the University of Kent in Canterbury, UK with a forensic science degree. What's he going to do, open up a forensic science store?
From the button, Holden raises to $320,000. Lars Bonding in the small blind with a weak ace.
By the way, most forensic evidence indicates that playing ace-queen is a crime.
Bonding folds in the big blind. Greg Kaplan, an online grinder with pocket sixes, at least until Black Friday put an end to all that in the U.S.
You started the hand with like 2.8 or something?
Kaplan with a marketing degree from the University of Indiana.
All in.
And that would put Holden all in.
Excellent.
And he makes the call.
Quick call by Holden. Heck, he's young with just 16 big blinds left, and now he's at risk.
Racing for his tournament life is Sam Holden.
This is what we didn't want to happen. In a pot together, no one can cheer for us.
The bad news is I've used my one time as well.
Oh, you have? Oh,
yeah.
That's good for me.
Here's the flop. And there's a queen for Holden. He's winning the race now.
Holden rewarded for his honesty. He admitted to using his one time, so he's granted another.
Tray of diamonds on the turn. Holden holding on so far.
Greg Kaplan would need a 6 and a 6 only on the river, or Sam Holden will double up.
And that would be a big boost to Holden's chances, who has started the last 2 days with 2.2 million. And it's a 5 on the river, ensuring the double up for Holden, though the 5 looked a little too much like a 6 for him.
That race cost Kaplan 40% of his stack.
So Kaplan's pocket pair failed to knock out Holden, who now is in 19th place, still well below the chip average here late on day 7. Kaplan knocked down to just under 3.9 million. That was a blow to his main event hopes. The average stack 7.9 million with 26 players left. Back to the only outer table. Andrey Pateychuk on the right with pocket aces in good shape to knock out JP Kelly. He's all in with Jack 10.
Pateychuk, the other 21-year-old left in the field.
10 big aces. We'll flip a straight sometime.
Kelly looking for any help against Pateychuk. Deuce Jack Trey, a good start for Kelly pairing his Jack.
A little ray of hope for Kelly. It's been all downhill for Kelly since he blew up trying to bluff Kenny Shee.
Turn card now, 5 of diamonds, and JP Kelly will need to play River Rat to win this one.
He's got to have a Jack or a 10, or Pateychuk's got the knockout.
The river card, the queen of spades. Pateychuk's aces do what they're supposed to do. JP Kelly's main event comes to a close.
The only multiple bracelet winner left in the field is gone.
26th place for the two-time bracelet winner. He wins over $302,000. If you're going to go out, it might as well be to aces. Pateychuk scores the knockout and moves into 3rd place. Welcome back to the 2011 World Series of Poker main event presented by Jack Link's Beef Jerky. Ryan Lenaghan back in the chip lead with 25 players remaining, but Matt Giannetti right behind him, a tribute to his dedication to the game.
My name is Matt Giannetti. I'm originally from upstate New York. I went to University of Texas. I lived there for 5 years and then lived in Vegas the last 3-4 years. I grew up playing ice hockey, love playing golf, still get out and play a little golf every once in a while. Besides that, I mean, I eat, sleep, and breathe poker. At the table, I'm not super talkative, but I like to think I'm somewhat friendly with the other players. I like to talk a little bit, but I definitely am very cognizant of what information I want to give up and don't want to give up, because that's how they're going to perceive you and play against you. Anyone who doesn't know me well would say I'm very shy. Anyone that knows me really well would have probably the opposite view of me. So it's, I guess it depends how well you know me.
He's the poster boy for perseverance. Started day 5 with just 11 big blinds. Now in position to perhaps make the November 9.
Giannetti with a button in this hand, folded to John Hewitt, who finished 35th in a no-limit hold'em event leading up to the main event. Pocket 6s.
Hewitt credits his friend, fellow pro Felipe Montenegro, for honing his game.
Hewitt makes a raise to $350,000. Bob Bunara with a queen and a deuce offsuit.
Bunara's second oldest player left at 49. And there's the oldest, Sam Barnhart at 51.
He folds to Giannetti on the button. Now Giannetti has the Jack Link's Beef Jerky wildcard hand.
You may recall Giannetti got a lot of his chips courtesy of 2 huge hands against Hilton Laborda.
Giannetti, one of the big stacks in the room. He makes the call.
Giannetti will respect Hewitt's raise. If he had a big pocket pair, I suspect he'd re-raise there on the button. So I'll put him on B, King 10 suited, or D, 10-9 suited.
Mozhnikov folds his small blind. Scott Schwalik in the big blind.
I know Joe Navarro is big on tells, but Lon, I apply a lot of forensic science to the wild card hands.
Schwalik folded, so Giannetti and Hewitt will see a flop. 4 Jack Queen. Hewitt left with his 2 6s.
I know there's a lot of nationwide interest, Lon, whether I'm going to finish the season batting over 400 on wild card hands.
It is all the talk. Hewitt following up his pre-flop raise with a bet of 430,000.
Giannetti's got B or D, as I said. Either way, he's got an up and down straight draw. A raise here might end the hand.
Nope, we'll see a turn card as he calls.
He also might smooth call there with a set of jacks.
Turn card 6 of spades. Hewitt turns a set of sixes.
Bingo for Hewitt. Hey, you know when you play bingo, you do say bingo when you hit bingo. It's different than gin.
Hewitt reaching for some of each of his colored chips. A similar bet sizing to the flop. There's 680,000.
Small bet from Hewitt. He doesn't want to lose Giannetti.
Giannetti does not appear to be going anywhere. Another call.
Giannetti's still on that draw, I believe. We would have heard from him by now if he had a set of jacks.
River card, the ace of hearts. Hewitt already reaching for chips.
I like that board if I'm Hewitt. No flush out there. The ace did complete Broadway. That's the only hand I'd be worried about.
Hewitt going up against a much bigger stack. He started this hand with about half the amount of Giannetti. And that is $1,230,000 from Hewitt.
Hewitt value bets it. Giannetti thinking about it, and I don't think he's thinking about bluffing. I think he has a hand.
Matt called John's pre-flop raise, then called his bets on the flop and the turn. And here on the river, Giannetti raises to $4 million.
Boy, that smells like the nuts. Can you value fold after you value bet?
Check it.
It still could be a set of jacks, but Giannetti didn't raise pre-flop, so I'm sticking with King 10. King 10 suited, turn into the nut straight. Tough spot for Hewitt. He's already committed 1/3 of his stack to the hand.
Wow.
Now he's got to put in more than half his remaining chips to make this call.
It's like King 10.
Does look like King 10, but I think he's got a call.
I haven't seen you raise once on the river without the nuts.
Which is a good reason not to call.
What a difficult moment for John Hewitt.
Indeed, down to 3 tables. The November 9 is within sight. What a decision for John Hewitt.
I call.
He calls. Giannetti at pocket tens, not enough to win the Jack Link's Beef Jerky wild card hand, nor you, Norman.
Well, we just saw the other side of Matt Giannetti, and if I finish the wild card hand here under 400, I'm holding him and his family personally responsible.
John Hewitt with a gutsy call vaults himself into 4th place with $13.7 million. Giannetti put serious pressure on Hewitt, but it ended up costing Matt $5.5 million chips.
What a tough call. What a terrific call.
So John Hewitt picks up some chips and some respect at the table. At the outer table, Ben Lamb finds himself with a set of sixes after the flop against Eoghan O'Dea, who comes in a distant second with aces up. Lamb checked.
O'Dea flops top 2 in position and is crushed. It's good to be Ben Lamb.
And he loves to have O'Dea put chips in the middle. $800,000 from the Irishman. And a call from Ben Lamb. Turn card is a 10 of spades. That misses O'Dea. Lamb checks again.
Lamb again sits on the set.
O'Dea again bets, this time $1.7 million.
I don't think Lamb is worried about O'Dea having Broadway, but he's acting like he might be worried about it.
And Lamb will commit the chips as well.
Then a 10-1 favorite going to the river.
Has O'Dea right where he wants him. Queen of spades, that puts a 3rd spade and a straight draw out there, but Lamb is best with his set.
Well, now Ben Lamb's got to be worried about Broadway, no?
And he's going to bet, though, $2.7 million.
Really? First of all, that's a small wager. Second of all, now O'Dea has to worry if Lamb is value betting the nuts.
Yeah, on that scary board, Lamb now putting O'Dea to the test.
Well, that was an awful river card for both players, but Lamb acted like it didn't matter. The queen might save O'Dea chips.
Lamb saw the Irishman take a peek at his cards once already. And now O'Dea peeks again. And finally gives it up, and Ben Lamb will take that pot.
I guess Lamb bet the river because he didn't want to have to potentially call a bid bet from O'Dea. How would I know?
O'Dea correctly folded, but it still stings giving up that many chips by folding without a showdown. Let's go back to the featured table, a hand in progress. Greg Kaplan has king, queen of spades, the open raised, but Gianni Demers just re-raised all in with his version of pocket sixes.
Demers, 23-year-old pro from Jackson, New Jersey. Half of Kaplan's stack to call him.
Call.
Kaplan does make the call, and with king, queen, he hopes he can improve enough to score the knockout.
Kaplan, remember, lost with pocket sixes, now trying to knock out Demers and his pocket sixes.
The two short stacks at this featured table going head to head.
Oh, and there was the pocket sixes bunny hop.
Both of these players in desperate need for chips, 4.3 million in the middle. Here is the flop, 5-7-8. Demers adds an up and down straight draw.
Demers pocket sixes strengthen with that flop.
Kaplan still looking for help, hoping to send Demers to the pay cage with his first ever World Series of Poker cash. Turn card, ace of spades. Kaplan gets some help with a flush draw.
That's a cruel card. Then again, it's a cruel game.
Which way will it go?
You see the string of outs Demers has to dodge to stick around.
The river card. Will it be Demers last? No, another ace, and Demers will double his stack. 1/3 of the deck would have knocked out Demers, but he dances through the raindrops to double up.
All in. Call.
Let's go! Yeah, baby! Woo!
Back at the Rio in the heart of Las Vegas, 26 players remaining in the 2011 main event. Our top stack is no stranger to the big stack. Kwa Win back on top with 17.5 million. Ryan Lenaghan, a 26-year-old from New Orleans, has just over 16 million. And Ben Lamb, who has been on everyone's radar to this point, has nearly 14 million.
Looks so trusting, plays so tricky.
All right, back to the secondary feature table. Phil Collins will be under the gun, or first to act. He sits with 11.3 million chips on the Jackling Speed Jerky Holcam Queen Jack.
Collins didn't play poker growing up. He played a lot of gin rummy with his family. Of course, that was before his perfect math SAT score.
He's a 2007 graduate from the University of South Carolina, a raise to 350. Folded over to Bob Bunara with 2 nines.
Bunara, one of the oldest players left, one of the only amateurs left, has hardly ever played online. Collins, of course, an online monster.
Bunara, lucky he is left. He's been the proverbial poker cockroach here on day 7. He makes the call.
I was great at multiplication tables, Lon, but the math SAT is another level. Heck, I have trouble spelling SAT.
Folded to the button, Alexander Mozhnikov.
It's Jack 10 off. Get rid of it, please. Thank you.
And the small blind, Schwalik.
Rags.
And they're in the muck. Pius Hines in the big blind.
Rags.
Yes, indeed. So we are heads up, Collins and Bunara.
The math whiz against the Belize whiz.
Bunara, part owner of a poker room in Belize. 4-7-9, a set of nines for Bunara. Collins comes up with zilch.
Yeah, I don't need no perfect score on no SAT to know that Phil Collins has a 7% hand. Ha! And he's betting. Hey, Phil, you can't out-aggress top set.
He might be able to kiss 500,000 chips goodbye there.
Well, there is top set we're looking at.
Bunara.
Well, a little amateur dinner theater here from Bunara. He's acting like he's weak. He's acting like he's not sure if he can continue.
Oh, he's stacking all his chips.
Oh, geez, Bob. Joe Navarro is going to use you as an exhibit in his next traveling show.
Another check of the cards.
And your final answer is?
I'm all in.
Who didn't see that coming? Collins smart enough to give up his hand quickly.
Collins not buying the act. It also helped he didn't have a hand.
Bunara has found his run good here on day 7, but even with all of that, he's still left with half the chip average. Not a minute to relax. Collins gave up some ground there, but he's still very comfortable at the moment with nearly 10.5 million. All right, let's go back to the outer table where a player is all in. New York poker pro Jerry Van Strydunk committed all his chips pre-flop with ace-king and missed the flop with pocket queens. Andy Henriksen can reduce the field by one more. Turn card, the 4 of spades, no help to Van Strydunk.
Van Strydunk, a Cornell grad. He's going to need an ace or a king.
The river card is a jack. Henriksen wins the hand. Van Strydunk knocked out.
An Ivy League casualty.
His first World Series cash for Van Strydunk worth over $302,000.
I'm not sure anyone has ever won a poker tournament in a Ralph Lauren shirt, so maybe Andrew should go change.
For Van Strydunk, this cash nearly matches his total live earnings to date. Well played, Jerry. You can be proud of your 25th place finish. With every knockout, the dream of the final table becomes more tangible for the remaining players.
Can I use that one time?
With day 7 wrapping up, the bust-outs are coming in rapid succession. First Kyle Johnson, then J.P. Kelly, and most recently, Jerry Van Strydunk. So just 24 hopefuls left. 1/3 of them had never cashed in the World Series before. At the outer table with ace-king, Bryan Devonshire trying to knock out Greg Kaplan and his pocket sevens.
I couldn't be happier. I just got to try to win now.
A little while back when the blinds were 50 and 100,000, Kaplan had 115,000 chips left, yet he's still here.
All right, here's the flop. Let's go, Aaron. Kaplan at risk, and there's a king for Devonshire.
Devo on home turf. Kaplan now needs a miracle on the road.
Turn card, 10 of hearts. Devo, 1 card from the knockout.
A little help, just a little. Help for 7.
Kaplan needs a 7. The river's a queen. And Greg Kaplan knocked out by Bryan Devonshire.
First we lose the Cornell kid, now we lose the University of Indiana business school grad. This is discrimination against smart people.
Kaplan secures his first World Series cash, a healthy 6-figure score. Devonshire over $6 million, sitting with 37 big blinds. All right, let's get back to the featured table where Chris Moore called a pre-flop raise with ace-jack. Anton Makievsky opened the action for $400,000 with king-jack. They're heads up. Here's the flop, and gin for Makievsky, a full boat. Moore flops trip jacks. My goodness.
Chris Moore in the crosshairs now.
Makievsky first to act.
And Makievsky looking like, what am I going to do with that flop? Well, he's going to fire.
$400,000.
Moore is going to wish he never saw this flop.
No kidding. Makievsky bet 1/3 of the pot. And here's a raise from Moore. No slow playing. $1.1 million.
Makievsky, the youngest player left in the main event, and he could supplant Joe Kata as the youngest main event champion ever. We've seen the Ukrainian outplay opponents. Now we've seen him outflop an opponent, and this smells like a big pot.
You were right about the face of Makievsky. Moore also looking very disinterested, but his betting actions certainly belie that, and now Makievsky putting some chips together. And Makievsky, the Ukrainian, re-raises to $2 million.
If you're Chris Moore, there are only 2 hands that beat you right now, King-King and King-Jack.
We have seen Makievsky very willing to put chips in the middle with rags, but here he has it.
Yeah, Makievsky obviously capable of bluffing in this spot. We've seen it before.
But trying to get paid off, holding a big hand here.
Moore told us if he wins the main event, he might just ride off into the sunset. But right now, Moore might barely survive this hand. Moore has Makievsky out-chipped by about $2 million.
I would imagine each player hoping the other actually has a real hand, and they do.
I raise.
Another raise announced by Moore.
2.8 total.
He says 2.8, but it has to be 2.9 million, so back to Anton now.
Moore with another ominous step toward the poorhouse.
Makievsky, one more check of his cards.
All in.
And he says all in.
I'm all in.
Can Moore get away from this?
I call.
He makes the call, and Chris Moore will be very sad to see what he's up against.
Our first 20 million chip pot. If Moore doesn't get lucky here, he'll be down to 12 big blinds. Makievsky either will be the first to 20 million or he's going to be gone.
Boy, you would have to be one super poker player to get away from the trip jacks there.
boy, and here's the action we had on the flop. I'll bet 400,000. Well, I'll raise you 700,000. Well, I'll raise you 900,000. Well, I'll raise you 900,000. No, I'll raise you 6.7 million more.
Oh, wow. And that's how you get to 20 million chips in the middle. Maciejewski sees a 6 on the turn, and he's one card away from the chip leadership.
Maciejewski about to seize the chip lead. Moore needs an ace on the river.
It is a 4, and Maciejewski, the youngest left, scores the huge double up.
Yeah, 20 миллионов, чувак.
Now that hand worthy of a victory lap. He can start thinking November 9. Not a whole lot Chris Moore could do about that.
Yeah, that's right, Norman. He wanted to play a big pot. He did and lost 10 million chips. A cold deck of Siberian proportions gives Maciejewski the chip lead. Here's Pro Phil Galfond with his take on that hand.
So in this hand, Maciejewski raises pre-flop and flops a full house. He continuation bets and gets raised, and this is where I think the hand gets interesting. Rather than call and slow play, which I think is what most people would do, he decides to re-raise the flop right then and there. This accomplishes two things. First of all, he ensures that a jack can't get away from the hand and has to get his whole stack in. And secondly, he makes it look like he could still be bluffing. This is a spot where a lot of players will 3-bet bluff the flop, and I could even see him getting 4-bet bluffed here. As it turns out, it was a cooler. They got the money all in and he won. But I think the key here is that you need to play your bluffs and your strong hands the same way.
And that's just what Maciejewski did. He may be the youngest player in the room, but he's got the biggest stack in the room. Anton over 20 million. The winner of the latest $1,500 no-limit hold'em event has a name as big as the prize pool. Athanasios Polychronopoulos took home over $600,000 while twisting the tongues of reporters everywhere. Meanwhile, 55-year-old Ukrainian-born Leonard Martin outlasted Justin Bonomo and won over $700,000 in the $2,500 deuce to 7 triple draw tournament.
World Series of Poker bracelet.
Anton Maciejewski representing Ukraine well in this main event chip leader with 23 players left. All right, let's get back to the lone outer table. Ryan Lenaghan is drawing dead with a pair of 6s up against Eoghan O'Dea, who flopped a set of 7s. But Lenaghan wants to bet almost $1 million.
O'Dea slow playing the set, and he has induced Lenaghan to bet the turn. Scooby dead. O'Dea born and raised in Dublin. Good poker town.
And good poker lineage with his dad having made 2 main event final tables. Donica O'Dea. Eoghan O'Dea makes the call. All right, so here we go to the river card. O'Dea way ahead. Another jack. O'Dea improves to 7s full.
Lenaghan's general studies background may tell him to now check.
And there you go. That's a good education. O'Dea.
O'Dea closing in on his own main event final table.
And his education at the Feltz is bet it. With the full house, how much does he think he can get from Lenaghan? $1,450,000. But Lenaghan quickly folds, and O'Dea will take that pot.
Both these fellows would love to just stop the race right now. Both of them have November 9 stacks at the moment.
Yeah, O'Dea with about $10.5 million in 9th place currently. Lenaghan with a 7th place stack with over $12.7 million. And O'Dea, despite his background, does not eat, sleep, and breathe poker.
Yeah, if I won it all, I don't think it'd change my life that much. Like, I definitely play higher stakes, which could be a mistake. But I have to play a little bigger. Most of the Irish players, they don't really seem to talk about strategy as much as other countries, like in the Americans and the English seem to talk about hand a lot more than we do. We just, after playing poker, we don't want to talk more poker, like playing all day long, and then just talk about poker hands. It's kind of like,
O'Dea with another big hand at that table, pocket kings. He re-raised to $2 million. Andy Henriksen holds ace-king off and needs nearly $1 million more to call. And Henriksen says, I'm going all in for over $7 million.
That's 7. Cool.
O'Dea calls, has him covered by more than $3 million. Henriksen is in trouble.
The bad news for the Australian.
All right, here is the flop. Jack 7-6, all hearts, no help for Henriksen. O'Dea picks up a flush draw.
And now only a black ace will help Henriksen.
Turn card is the deuce of hearts. O'Dea turns his flush. Henriksen drawing dead. He goes out, and so goes Australia's hopes for another world championship.
Henriksen's main event ends. It looks like O'Dea's is just starting.
And he got a little antsy with a below-average chip stack, and that means big gains for the fortunate. O'Dea moves into second place overall with more than 18 million. Day 7 wrapping up inside the Amazon room. Anton Makievsky leads the featured table and the tournament with over 20 million. Lars Bonding, the short stack of the featured table. At the secondary table, John Hewitt leads with over 13 million. Bob Bunara is just short of 4 million. And finally, at the outer table, we just saw Eoghan O'Dea make a strong push. He's over 18 million. Devo, Bryan Devonshire with almost 6 million. At that outer table, Andrey Pateychuk on the right with a suited ace, just re-raised the action to 885,000. Ryan Lenaghan sits with 9-6 off.
Pateychuk with position, the bigger stack, and the better hand.
Lenaghan, though, looks like he may want to make a statement. There's a re-raise to almost 2 million.
Lenaghan 4 bets with 9-6 off. He senses Pateychuk doesn't have a big hand, and he senses right.
Pateychuk not doing anything quickly.
Remember, we saw Lenaghan push around Claudia Crawford in a big hand pre-flop earlier in the main event when neither was strong.
We're a little deeper in the action here at the main event. Pateychuk not wanting to be pushed around, it appears.
Uh-oh.
Lenaghan gives it up.
Pateychuk shows the most nerve there. Very nice. He was bluffing with the best hand, and we now have two 21-year-olds in the top 4 chip stacks.
Pateychuk in 4th place with 16.2 million. And after that loss, Lenaghan drops a spot on the leaderboard down to 8th place. Here in the closing minutes of Day 7 of the 2011 main event, back to the secondary featured table. The money is huge, the pressure to continue immense.
You know, Lon, when we started the main event with 6,865 entrants, this is pretty much the 22 players I expected to see at the end.
Right. Piers Hines folds Jack 7 of spades to Phil Collins with ace tray offsuit.
Weak ace under the gun +2. Collins doesn't seem to understand the math or the science of the situation.
He raises to 350,000. Action on Bob Bunara. He folds on the button Barnhart. Queen 8.
I'm trying to will Little Rock's finest into the November 9 line.
Well, he's not going to do it here. He folds. Matt Giannetti in the small blind with 10-5 into the muck. In the big blind, Alexander Mozhnikov. Mozhnikov looks down at Jack 9.
There is no upside to playing Jack 9 from the big blind heads up. None. Unless you're hankering to play Phil Collins with a bad hand out of position.
Well, Mozhnikov seems to have exactly that in mind, and he does call for 190,000 more.
Did I not make myself clear? If you want to raise with that hand, go ahead, but to call with it?
All right, here's the flop. Tray 6 tray, trips for Collins. Mozhnikov left with a 1% hand.
Wrong time to posture. A bad call leads to a bad bluff. Mozhnikov is fishing without a pole.
And he bets 425,000. Collins secure with his hand.
Collins was the story of days 5 and 6. He's been relatively quiet of late.
Collins, as you mentioned often, a very smart guy, knows that only very few hands beat his.
Oh, a stupid guy would know that.
He calls, though.
Collins with the smooth call, hoping Mozhnikov has overcards and will catch something on the turn.
Queen of hearts, Mozhnikov catches nothing. He's drawing dead now.
Well, it's like Henry Fonda said in A Big Hand for a Little Lady. The first rule of poker is put up or shut up. Now, I doubt Mozhnikov has seen A Big Hand for a Little Lady, but he's willing to put up.
And I doubt he's seen Henry Fonda in On Golden Pond, but that's a Henry Fonda type hat, a bet of 650.
Mozhnikov drawn dead.
Collins just called Mozhnikov's bet on the flop.
Collins young, married, and happy. How does he do it?
Just another call here.
Collins with a clinic here on how to play a big hand against an opponent like Mozhnikov.
River card, 8 of diamonds. Mozhnikov left with jack high.
Mozhnikov left with no choice now but to chew and bluff again, I guess. Then again, he could recheck his fishing pole and see he has no bait on the hook.
He is the one who is hooked. And now Mozhnikov with more chips in hand.
Boy, it's a bluff in slow motion.
Mozhnikov puts together 1.5 million chips.
On the river, Mozhnikov has cast out an additional 1.5 million chips into Lake Collins. Oh, I thought the fishing hat only comes off when he showers.
I put him on balding. I'm surprised he has hair. Now Collins knows that Mozhnikov is somewhat committed. Now I think we'll find out how committed. A raise to 3.7 million.
Well, he bluffed slowly, so I assume he's going to fold slowly.
Mozhnikov has to save face, and in doing so may save some chips, but he's cutting out some chips, Norman.
Oh, maybe he's going to call. Maybe he puts Collins on 5-4 for a busted straight, or maybe a weaker jack.
Collins thinking, call.
He just doesn't look right anymore without the blue fishing headgear. He's got to fold.
The Russian reaching for his cards, and he does give it up, and Collins will take that pot.
The charade is over. For Mozhnikov, it was bet. It should have been nyet.
Mozhnikov on a bad path from the get-go, and he gives up almost 3 million chips. Collins a head start to finish got Mozhnikov to commit chips on every street.
And Phil Collins back among the chip leaders.
At the end of this day 7, Collins moves into 6th place. Right now, everyone's still chasing 21-year-old Ukrainian Anton Makievsky. He took King Jack against Ace Jack and made millions. Right now, he's with Kara Scott.
Anton will be coming in tomorrow as a massive chip leader. Talk to me about some of the things that are going to be going through your head tonight preparing.
Actually, same things are going through my head tonight, through all days. I'm understanding that it's really important. I understand it in my mind, but I can't feel it really.
What was going through your mind when the cards were flipped over and you saw your King Jack against the Ace Jack?
Actually, I was thinking that there are only 3 outs, and maybe it's most important ounce in my life. And my friends there was railing. They was like, yeah, you got King Jack, you win. But I was so nervous. I was really nervous. I was so afraid that now it will be all over. And when I win it, I was just really happy. It's a nice feeling.
Thanks so much.
Good luck, man.
Day 7 wrapped with 5 eliminations, including British poker star J.P. Kelly. The youngest player remaining won the tournament's biggest pot to date. Now Anton Makievsky can call himself chip leader. Yeah. 22 players move on to day 8. 9 will make the final table. 1 will become world champion. For Norman Chad and Kara Scott, I'm Lon McCarran. This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports.